What's that? Looser? Okay. Hey, how you doing? I'm good. I'm good. Oh, thank you. I just saw your niece the other day. Yeah, yeah. All right, that's what I'm talking about. Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you very much. What's that? Oh no! We're just yeah. I got this one. Oh, yeah. No, this is I saw this in the paper about lacrosse having existed, and I said, you know what? We ought to just recognize this folks. Jody Gage is just hockey at Amherst. Which one is it? Oh, the guy next. Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember hearing his name. And then you get the James Brown here. Now it looks like she's got me doing those first. I think I said the rest of the time. But either way, I'm gonna start with Tony, and then there's a student. Thanks.
Do you want them as two separate slides?
Because I'll talk about each of them.
And which one is first?
Tony Bolt. Good evening, everybody. If you all could have a seat, that'd be appreciated. I think there are some cookies and water, unfortunately, back there. Not my favorite drink, but it'll do. Malik, is there still cookies back there? You ate most, man, you don't even look like you ate one cookie. Got that great metabolism. Good evening, everybody. We're running a few minutes late, but I think we can make up the time. Commissioner Elliott, Vice President Elliott, how you doing? Good, good, nice to see you. She called me yesterday, check up on me, and you know where I was? I was at Planet Fitness, wasn't I? Breathing hard, trying to get, we got the lacrosse, we got some athletic people here today. I'm trying, guys. It takes a little work, but I'm trying. Commissioner Powell, good evening, how are you? You look like you're cold. All right, and then finally, and don't worry, colleagues, we're going to move this thing along on time. I just want to create a more relaxed environment. Nothing wrong with that. We have some signs. I want to acknowledge them. I didn't, unfortunately, get a chance to stop by and listen to you all. You had a tent outside. If I had had the time, I would have said, come on inside and take the mic and talk before we get our meeting started. But is there a young person who's carrying a sign? I'm looking for a young person. Like in school. No need to sign. No, whoa, slow down. Just raise your hand if you're in one of our schools and you have a sign in your hand. I don't want no old folks like me. If you're in, all right, I'll take that gentleman right there. You got a sign? Come here. In less than 1 minute, because I don't want anybody to say we don't listen to people here. In less than 1 minute, I don't want you giving a long speech, no preaching. Tell me why you're carrying that sign. What's that sign say? So everybody knows. You got to get the mic so everybody can hear you.
The sign says, you say move, I say who.
What's that mean?
That means you're trying to move early college to somewhere that's not even, like you're not thinking about it. You're trying to move early college somewhere far. It's already hard enough to get kids to come to school. You're pushing them further away from the school that we're already in. Like, it's a far drive out there. Ain't no one parents got that much gas money to come out there and pick up their kids. It's like we already, like, we got a high graduate. We the only international early college, and y'all trying to get rid of us? That's not right. And then you trying to move us further into an all-boys school when we was boys and girls school? I don't understand.
All right, let's everybody give him a round of applause. Sir, what's your name? You tell me your name. What's your name?
My name is Cornelius Cooks.
All right, let's give Cornelius a round of applause. Now, you all know there is a speaker's portion of the agenda. You all will have a chance to speak. I would encourage you. No, I would remind you. We have rules about how we proceed with this meeting. People get either 2 minutes or 3 minutes, depending on the amount of time we have, and you're to speak. We do not answer questions. We listen. You sit down, and then the next person gets up and speaks. So when we get to that part of the agenda, I want you to know we're respecting you, but we ask that you respect the other speakers by speaking your turn. Is that fair? That's how we're going to do that. All right, but for now, we're going to focus on something a little bit different, which is really good news. And usually, as my colleagues know, they give you a script, but I'm famous for going off script. And everybody's important here, and I could get myself in big trouble. Everybody's important here. But there's one person I was told is really important to this effort that we're here to recognize today. And his name is Eric Robinson. Eric, you want to stand up for a second? Where are you, Eric? That's Eric. Now, I want to tell you, this isn't on this script. I want to tell you why Eric is important. And everybody's important here, don't get me wrong. But Eric, this young man, you young, I'm old. This young man started this lacrosse initiative on his own. It was his own idea. Nobody told him to do it. I know you got a lot of support, a lot of help. Nobody told him to do it. Nobody gave him any extra money to do it. He said, this is what is important. We haven't had lacrosse in the city, I think, in 40 years. So let's give Eric a round of applause for standing up and doing something, stepping beyond his job and doing something that is incredibly unique in this district. And Eric, I just wanted to say on behalf of the board, we're very proud of you, and we're very thankful that you took the initiative to do something beyond your job description. We really, above and beyond what was expected of you. We really appreciate that, and my colleagues are here today, and we want you to know that, okay? Another round of applause for Eric. Well, as I said, it's been nearly 40 years since we've had lacrosse in the Rochester City School District. And as a result of a unique collaboration between the Rochester Nighthawks, a nonprofit community organization, and local businesses, we now have what we haven't had in 40 years, which is lacrosse. This unique alliance has been so successful that the school district now has a varsity lacrosse team at East High School. So before I go any further, I would ask our two superintendents, Sean Nelms, Dr. Sean Nelms, and Barbara. I know Barbara wasn't expecting me to call up, but I want you to come up. So when we give up these awards, these plaques and so forth to folks, sorry, Barbara, that you see the appreciation that we have from our superintendents. In recognition of their collaborative effort, the Board of Education, every week, every board meeting, we give what we call our Yes We Can Award. Just telling folks, yes, it doesn't have to get a paycheck. You don't have to get a paycheck for it, but yes, we can make this the kind of district that everybody expects us to be. And so this board meeting, the Board of Education and my colleagues and I would like to recognize a number of individuals individually because they have made a contribution to making this district what everyone expects it to be and what it can be. So let's begin with the Rochester Nighthawks, who have donated equipment and have coached students. They are, I want you gentlemen to step up. Could Willa or Malik or somebody help me, Liz or Mary help me with these awards? Liz and Mary, why don't you come on up so we can shake everybody's hands? These are our Board of Education members. Vice President Elliott, I miss you there, come on up, if you don't mind. And again, these are our Board of Education members. Let's give them a round of applause. All right. We're going to begin with Nate Snyder. Nate Snyder, you come on up. He is with the Rochester Nighthawks. It should be right in order. For all of them. Okay. Oh, it's for all of them? All right. Jody Gage. Y'all remember that name. Oh, yeah. I remember that name. Let's give, Jody Gage. Let's give Jody Gage a round of applause. Thank you, sir. He don't look like he wants to be recognized, but I got to tell you, and again, everybody's important here. But, you know, coming up, and I'm old, but Mr. Gage, I do remember hearing your name all the time. And I'm not a big hockey fan, but I know you are big stuff in Rochester, so thank you for your all the sport entertainment you provided us over the years. We've also got Charlie Ragusa. Charlie Ragusa? Is Charlie Ragusa here? Charlie, let's give Charlie a round of applause. Charlie, thank you very much. And on the Rochester City School District side, we have Carlos Cotto. Carlos, come on up. All right, Carlos. Got a little fan club over there. Thanks, Carlos. He's the man. Sean Banks from the Rochester City School District. He's a physical education teacher and head coach of the lacrosse team. All right. Proudly wearing that eagle. All right. And then, of course, we have none other than Eric Robinson. Again, let's give Eric a round of applause. Thank you, Eric. He is the athletic director for East High School. And this is a name that is familiar to many of us in here. And one of these days, we're going to get this brother to come back to our school district. Where are you, Arkie Allen? I know I saw you in here. You're sporting a beard now. You didn't have it when you was here before. Let's give Arkie a round of applause. We're going to get him back in the district one day. One day. Thank you, sir. And then finally, Carla Fitcher. She is the owner of Diamond Packaging, a Rochester company that has provided financial support for this district's partnership. Thank you, Carla. Who is this young man with you?
This is my son, Colt.
Oh, Colt. Nice to meet you, sir. All right. Can we give our group of supporters of the Rochester City School District another round of applause? Thank you very much. Eric, would you mind, I'm catching everybody by surprise today, but would you mind saying a few words about the effort, please? And Carlos? Carlos, too.
Good evening. I just want to be clear that this has been a collaboration that has been a little in the making. We have had lower level lacrosse in the city for a few years, and we're to the point now where we're ready to compete at the varsity level. We have the highest level, I'm talking comparative to the NBA, the NFL level of lacrosse players that are helping our scholars out, our student athletes. And so when you get to the point where you're able to have the cream of the crop, the highest level professionals come out and support you every day, our kids can only benefit from that. We've had a lot of support from a lot of different people throughout the community, a lot of the different programs across the Section 5 area where we've had different teams reach out to support us. So we've had a lot of different support from across the Rochester region. Diamond Packaging has been great in allowing us to provide the type of equipment necessary to compete at a varsity level and also give our students, our athletes, an opportunity to go to Nighthawks games and be treated as first class time and suites and things of that nature. So our kids have really benefited from the relationship we've built with the people that are in front of you today. And so we look forward to continued success. We look forward to support from the Rochester community. And again, we want to have a special thanks to all of the professionals and the Diamond Packaging for helping us create this reality for our student athletes.
Good evening. Just to follow up, what we have here is a unique partnership which we're looking to utilize for all of our programs within the Rochester community. Rocky 6 has been in this community for over 10 years, and it's kind of been the grassroots of that lacrosse program that now we're starting to see build within our middle school and now high school program. But this partnership involves many others, City of Rochester, recreation programs. The program as a whole is also going to be supporting a lot of our youth within the community outside of the schools in our rec centers this summer. So just very unique, and then also looking to do some things with our girls programs, bringing girls lacrosse back into the city starting next year. So I just can't thank all of the individuals that are here, the organizations that are supporting lacrosse here in the Rochester community, and just the opportunity that we have here to really do something great with a very small group of programs that are taking place from the youth all the way up until our high school. And as Eric shared, I mean, the opportunities that our students have to have these professional athletes working with them and mentoring and coaching them and guiding them and having them understand the importance of academics and balancing academics along with athletics and what doors and opportunities will open for them if indeed, you know, they focus on those books so that they can get those looks and get on to bigger things. So I want to just thank you all and thank all the organizations that have supported Rochester and its community.
You know, we're still running ahead of schedule, and I want to bring up one other person. Carla, if you wouldn't mind coming up. And the reason why I say that is we realize we cannot, you know, the phrase, it takes a village to raise a child, is often overused. But really, this is, the gentlemen have made clear, Eric and Carlos have made clear, this would not happen without a community of people. And we've got a very important community partner, and we want her and her son to enlighten us about why they would do such an important thing for our community. Thank you, Carla.
Thank you. And it is a privilege to be part of this process and watch this team get on their feet. It's amazing the progress that kids can make when they have an opportunity. I'd like to say, like, the people that are in this room, I know a few people that are standing up here, and they've been inspirational to me and on a sports level, but also on a business level, and people that have made commitments in their life, like Arki, that taught my daughter, who's now 27, my oldest, math at Arundecoit High School. He involved them and included everyone in Arundecoit to be part of his program and to have the opportunity to volunteer. And it's influential, it matters, it makes a difference to these young people, and it makes a difference to me. I'm so honored to be part of this and to have the opportunity. I think there are a lot of business owners and people in our community that want a chance to be part of something like this. And I think it's a start, and you'll build off of it, and we can build off of it. But I applaud all of you for the efforts you've made. For you, Eric, my company, it's a small company, relatively, in Rochester, New York. The people that take the initiative to do things that nobody's asked them to do and have the passion and care about it enough, those are the things that differentiate our business from our competition and make us strong, not only in Rochester, but across the nation. And those are the people that you can look to that are standing up here that have been part of this, that really can lead us to continue to improve and give children better opportunities. And I think through sports is the most amazing opportunity that we can offer. So appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Okay, we got a couple minutes before our meeting begins, but before we do, we got, what's your son's name again? Colt. Colt. We got a couple of gifts for you. Let's give Colt a round of applause for being with his mom. Thank you very much. All right, we got a couple minutes until our meeting begins. Thank you. We're going to have him lead the Pledge of Allegiance. Yeah. Is he leaving anytime soon? Oh, the one that Archie coached? The top? Wow. Where does she play? Drexel. Oh, yeah. Great school. Great school, yeah. Colt? This is my daughter. Oh, hi. Hi, Vic must be very proud. Nice to meet you. Stick around a few more minutes. Would you mind, when our meeting gets started, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? You know the pledge? Do you know it? Oh, no, not America the Beautiful. Just like at the beginning of school, you say pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic. For which it stands. I don't think kids say that much in school. Oh, they don't? I don't know. A lot of kids don't say it anymore. Really? One year that I didn't, they sent me to the principal's office. Really? Yeah, back in the day. Yeah. Every morning. Yeah. Hold on, one more. So you go to Drexel? Forensics. Yep, forensics. You're Philadelphia, right?
I
Exactly. You know, and I hate to see when we get up and they're spindling trying to get on my gosh.
Yeah, send him up. Huh? Yeah, I know. Jeez. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to begin the meeting. If you could have a seat. Don't regulations require that people sit seated?
We got a maximum.
Everybody needs to have a seat. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to have a seat. Huh? Yeah, I did once.
Have a seat. Have a seat.
You need to have a seat. Fire regulations require that everybody have a seat. There are some some available seats. I need people to sit down. We appreciate folks being here. This is good that folks have an interest in our meetings, but fire regulations require that people have a seat. We don't want anybody getting hurt if there's an emergency, so you have to have a seat. There's some seats up front. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, you do have to have a seat. We cannot begin the meeting unless everybody has a seat. There are some seats up front. Thank you. All right. Thank you very much for your cooperation. We appreciate it. All right, we begin every meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I need a young person who goes to one of our schools to volunteer to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Young lady, you just put your head down. You look young to me. Right there. Yep, yeah, you. Yep. You saying no, you don't want to do it? Oh, she's hiding. How about the young man in front of her? Come on. Give him a round of applause. Encourage him. All right. Now, sir, if you just take that mic over there, and everybody's going to follow your lead and look to the flag over here, and we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance together, all right? And tell us your name and where you go to school.
John Hightower, and I go to Early College.
All right, Early College, all right. Now we're going to give him our quiet attention, and he's going to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Let's give him a round of applause. We appreciate that. I need a motion right now to accept the business meetings from minutes from the business meeting of April the 27th and May 11th.
So moved.
Been moved by Vice President Elliott, seconded by Commissioner Hallmark. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those minutes have been approved. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm obligated by ordinance to tell you that there are exits, as you can see, 2 exits in this room. There are signs, you correct me if I'm wrong, Lori, that will direct you where to go if there's an emergency. Typically, Lori, again, you correct me, the elevators, you cannot use the elevators. You have to go down the stairs. You all know how you got in here. That's pretty much the same way you got to get out, but do it in an orderly and peaceful fashion. That has not had to happen in anybody's memory in here, but we want to make sure that you all know what you need to do if you need to be safe. And so please abide by those exit signs. We begin, as we always do, with our speakers. We want to make sure folks get home in a timely way. I'm sorry? Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Commissioner Adams, you're going to give a recognition. Thank you, Ms. Lee.
Shalinda Bowler, please join me. Shalinda Bowler received the Princeton Prize for Race Relations in recognition of her work with the Community Task Force on School Climate. We worked intentionally from a partnership framework, elevating the voices and applying the knowledge of those who are most often silenced or patronized through exclusion, tokenism, or lip service. Shalinda and other teen empowerment youth organizers excelled as leaders. They respectfully and assertively worked together with high-level district administrators and a broad spectrum of stakeholders committed to transformative change in the climate of our schools. Shalinda and her peers went deep, and they even, on occasion, took the adults to task for our conduct. They, or more accurately, we, were practicing a paradigm shift, not just prescribing one. Trust was built, and Shalinda earned such a high level of respect from district leaders for the sustained, substantive work being done by the youth organizers that last summer they were invited to educate dozens of district administrators on the new code of conduct. Their presentations were extremely well received, causing Teen Empowerment to receive numerous requests from administrators for more sessions. Shalinda was central to producing the new code of conduct, and she followed up that milestone with even more collaborative work in order to ensure that the new code would be much more than well-intentioned words on paper. I attended the Princeton Prize presentations and listened to each student's presentation. There were quite a few. Students from all over Monroe County reported on diverse projects that were incredibly creative, compassionate, and smart. But the sustained, integrated nature of Shalinda's work and her ability to work inside of our complex institution, navigating the norms, barriers, and mysteries of the RCSD through partnerships with its leaders were truly exceptional. Now, I want to turn the mic over to Shalinda in a minute, but first I want to acknowledge that she is an early college international high school student. And I also want to acknowledge that she is a Teen Empowerment youth organizer, staff member with Teen Empowerment.
How y'all doing? First, thank you, Mary. I just want to take a moment to thank everyone that supported me all the way up to this point. I first want to start with the Villa staff for allowing me to be comfortable where I am in life. Teen Empowerment for being my backbone through thick and thin. Rochester Early College for giving me the opportunity to come back and graduate from my home school. The board, the CTF, and the superintendent for acknowledging the work that I do to improve the RCSD. And last but not least, I want to say thank you to Erica, Esteban, Sabi, Navik, and Christian for sticking by me and motivating me to keep my head high no matter the situation. Many of our students are not able to freely express their opinions about controversial topics such as race, social ills, demographics, and just everyday life. This is one of the reasons why we need to implement culturally relevant curriculum, such as Pan-African Studies, Hispanic courses, and so on, so that it can reflect the majority of the student body more accurately. I find it puzzling that suburban schools such as Greece Olympia have clubs like Mosaics that shed light on social issues and problems within their communities, but we have yet to see anything like this for our youth. Personally, this is important to me because for years my history has been hidden from me as a means to hold my people back, and now I believe it's time for a change. Knowledge is power, and we need to all be on the same page. Thank you again.
See what I'm saying? She's not resting on her laurels, right? She's getting an award, but she's not resting on her laurels. Did I say she was substantive? Did I say she was sustained with her values? Thank you. This is the Yes We Can Award. Thank you.
On behalf of the board, Shalinda, as you walk back to your seat, we want to thank you for your good work and making us proud. I also want to do what you did, which is to thank Teen Empowerment. There are so many young people who've been positively impacted by teen empowerment. Doug and his staff there have been working on our youth for many years. My son was first impacted by teen empowerment many years ago when they first came to Rochester. So your work, Shalinda, is evidence of their good work. So we want to thank Teen Empowerment. Let's give them a round of applause. I know they're here. I'm sure Shalinda would agree with me that her good work or her recognition was also the result of, and I think she's acknowledged it this evening, of the task force's good work. It is unique work. We really set the bar very high here in Rochester for sort of upending the apple cart and creating a whole new code of conduct that I don't think any other district in this country has done that. And I'd like to advance to my colleagues a resolution that Commissioner Adams has worked on. Please take a look at it. We're fine-tuning it, but I hope that within the next board meeting we'll have some resolution to bring to your attention, and we'll work on continuing the work of the task force. And then finally, because I know a lot of folks are here today, Shalinda, as you've acknowledged, and everybody here knows, the award that you received is also a positive reflection upon your school. So let's give Early College a round of applause. And again, because the applause sounds so good and so thunderous and so deep and so rich, let's give Shalinda another round of applause. She really deserves it. Okay, without further ado, we're going to begin with our speakers list. Again, I would remind people, because of the volume, the number of speakers, our rules, and I believe you've been informed of this when you called in, you have 2 minutes to speak. And when your time is up, an obnoxious bell will ring, and you are expected to sum up your remarks. I'll try not to interrupt you, but if I have to, I will. And the reason why I will do that is not because you're disrespecting the board, but quite honestly, you're disrespecting the time of individuals who signed up to speak. Don't look at it as a reflection on, oh, why isn't Van or why isn't the board not allowing me to speak? It's a statement about our desire to hear from other people. 2 minutes, please respect that time period. I don't want to have to cut you off. So let's begin with Adam McFadden.
I typically don't come here to speak. I try to stay in my own lane. Tonight I'm here to address that the board will probably be taking up action on the Historically Black College and University College Fair. How many kids have attended that over the last couple of years? Last year we had 1,100 kids. We gave out $1.1 million in scholarships. The year before we had about 800 kids. We gave out $1.3 million in scholarships. And it's my understanding a few commissioners do not understand what HBCUs do. I can't tell you in 2 minutes, but I'm going to try. I was a kid that graduated from Edison Tech. I attended a college fair that was very similar to the one that I helped to organize with members of the Rochester City School District. I never knew that I could actually get an academic scholarship to college until Claflin University offered me one, where I graduated with a degree in accounting. When I came back to Rochester, that college fair no longer existed. And so it took 10 years to get it back. We raised about $100,000 a year to provide a college fair for kids to go to for free by flying in mission directors from different HBCUs who can open their checkbook and offer on-the-spot scholarships and on-the-spot admissions to Black and brown students from this community. So the $10,000 that we have asked the district for is only for school lunches. It is not a charitable gift. It is to feed the kids that come to the college fair. So I would say this, me being a longtime elected official, you're not measured by your words, you're measured by where you put resources and how you vote, and we are watching. Oh, one side note, June 3rd, Quad A Soapbox Derby race, kids from School 41, 4, and 34 will be competing at Lakeshore Boulevard starting at 9 a.m. Please come.
Councilman McFadden, didn't they place at the Nationals or something?
Yes, the team won first place. The first place actual winner is a fourth grader from School 41.
All right.
Who came
Kodak.
in first place in the country in the STEM race. So for a school that is on the receivership list, they actually have the best program in the country.
All right. Justin Sotelo, he will be. I'd ask that Tatiana Fowler be waiting in the wings right there by the table so we can keep this moving along. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Justin Sotelo, and I'm an 11th grader at Rochester Early College, and I think that moving my school to Charlotte is a terrible idea. I believe this because by doing so, you will be setting many students up for failure. The Charlotte campus is very far away from student homes, meaning that attendance will drop drastically. Students won't be in class, which prevents them from obtaining important knowledge needed to pass high school classes and to be successful in life. But attendance is not the only problem. Charlotte, as you know, is already home to another high school, Leadership Academy for Young Men, which is an all-boys establishment. So by moving a co-ed school in with them is asking for some major conflicts. As an all-boys school, you will also be affecting the success of the students that attend there, who picked that school specifically to be in that type of environment so they can remain focused on their studies. And if you don't believe that moving my school to the Charlotte campus is a bad idea, just look at the past attempt to house a co-ed school with an all-boys school, which was Charlotte High School, which is now closed. And the remaining students there that did not graduate were just tossed to any school that would take them in. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Fowler will be followed by Sean Neal. Mr. Neal, if you could stand to her left, that would be appreciated. Ms.
Hi.
Fowler.
Hi, my name is Tatiana Fowler, and I am a student at Rochester Early College. I am here to talk about my school relocating to Charlotte. I don't think moving my school to Charlotte will be a benefit to our school at all. I completely agree with the idea of moving our school, generally speaking, but I feel every school deserves their own space, but I don't think Charlotte is the best place for it. Our school being relocated into an all-boys school can cause many issues. I know myself as a young lady. Also, transportation is going to be a big issue for many students attending my school. Finally, MCC. MCC is Rochester Early College's opportunity for a start to early success. If we move to Charlotte, it will be so far for transporting back and forth, and our privileges to take free MCC classes will be eventually provoked, which is what our school is all about. Going to early college is the making of our school, and without the privilege, we won't be early college anymore. If I had known our school was being relocated so far, I would have never stayed to take advantage of the free MCC classes, which my school strives for us to do. I would have been the early graduate that I can be. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fowler. Sean Neal or Sarah Adams? Ms. Neal? Ms. Neal? How you doing? How about Sarah Adams? Is Ms. Adams here? Sarah Adams? Oh, Ms. Adams, if you could do me a favor and stand to Mr. Neal's left and wait. Thank you. Mr. Neal?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Sean Neal, and on behalf of Rochester Early College International High School, I would like to say that moving to Charlotte is a poor choice. The distance that it takes to get to Charlotte is so far that students will be discouraged to come to school and get the education necessary for them to graduate. If a student were to wake up late, again, they would be discouraged to come to school because of the distance. Attendance will plummet because of the distance. In our school, teachers and counselors help the students in any way that they can. How can they help the students if the students aren't coming to school? In June of 2016, the graduation rate of seniors was between 70 and 75%, and that number is expected to rise. With the decrease of attendance and grades, the graduation rate can only decrease. We must always keep in mind that the graduation of our students is essential. The students today will make or break the future. Keeping in mind that what we do today will affect our students tomorrow, may the board not send Rochester Early College International High School to Charlotte, thus keeping our attendance and grades at a rate that will keep our students successful.
Sarah Adams. She'll be followed by Adriana Colbert. Adriana Colbert. Ms. Colbert, are you here? Go ahead, Ms. Adams.
My name is Sarah Adams, and I'm a 5th grade scholar from Dr. Walter Cooper Academy. And I'm on student council, and I'm my school's next 2017-18 school year standard bearer. And I'm here to tell you that for sure that the students are not in favor of extending the day more than it is already. Thank you for listening to the students' voice.
Thank you, Ms. Adams. Adriana Colbert. Kiara Johnson. Kiara Johnson. If I mispronounce your name, I apologize. All right. And then Shalinda Bowler, who was already, oh, she left? All right.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
So right before I start, I just want to show you guys this sign, and on the side, in the back, it says, "Why did Hollywood teach me?" And on the other side, it says Hidden Figures, because I did not learn that in school. I had to learn it from a movie. So today, I just want to talk about Pan-African Studies being in school. Now, as an African-American female, it's already a lot of things that I don't really get to have for me to help me. And one thing in school that is a huge problem for me is not being able to learn my African-American history. Only thing that I do learn is that I was a slave, I was freed, and that's it. Now, Pan-African Studies is there to teach you the real stuff, the great stuff, the bad stuff, everything. And that's what we need in these schools, because once you begin to teach us our history, you then give us this mindset to where we can do things. We can learn about other things. We can strive to make more Black history ourselves, because we are that Black history. So once you put that in these schools, you help tons of African-American students. We'll feel more respected in schools. We'll have a reason to be in school. And I don't have a problem with learning European history, but I want to learn about mine too. School had become so Eurocentric that it's kind of like, why am I there anymore? Why isn't my history being implemented in this school? 58% is African-American and 28% Latino. So we should have more things that pertain to us because we are there. We should be feeling like we are important. Our history should be implemented all around the school, just as well as European history. And so, although I do not have a problem with European history, I would love to see mine, because when I see the beautiful things that happen in African-American history, and I know that that's possible, I then can strive for a better future. Now, our schools today don't really do it that much. I personally go to School of the Arts. For the Black History Day that we had, they weren't going to let us do it, and so we did protest inside of school so that we can be celebrated. We should not only have one day, and we do. It should be every single day, like every other culture that we celebrate in that school. So thank you guys for listening, and please take that into consideration. Thank you, guys.
Now, I know we haven't gotten through even halfway through our list, but I got to say this because I think it could be missed. You may agree or disagree with what these young folks say, but you got to understand they are representing how powerful, how articulate, how strong, how smart our children are. Let's give our children a round of applause. They sound good. They sound good. They sound good. We're very proud of you. Amina Goldsby. Amina Goldsby. Amina Goldsby will be followed by Mosim Tillman. Nasim Tillman. I'm sorry, it's misspelled here.
Well, I'd just like to say that I've been hearing this quote over the past couple days, ever since the rally had came with my job. I work at Teen Empowerment. You don't know you can't move forward without knowing your past. Well, me personally, I feel like my fingerprint has been erased from our history because it's like, I don't know who I am, me being of African-American descent, me being a female, and also with me having albinism, it's like, I don't want to be labeled as what the stereotypical American society has to label me. I want to know who I am as a person. I want to know where I came from. I want to know my roots. And it's like 86% of the RCSD is African American and Latino, the minority. So why is the European man the poster child of 86% of the minority? So I mean, all I have to say is that our history matters, and we would like a chance. We need this, and I need this personally for me too. Thank you.
Thank you. Nasim Tillman will be followed by Jacarl Hill. Jacarl Hill.
I only got 2 minutes, right?
Yes, sir.
So I'm gonna make this as quick as possible. First of all, where my ECI family at? Make some noise right now. Now, I was only supposed to come here for, talking about Pan-African studies and how we need this in our schools because I have 2 younger sisters that come up after me, you know what I'm saying, and I love them to death. I love them like my little daughters. I push them hard work and determination, you know what I'm saying, and it's stuff that they come to me asking me for about their African-American roots that they should be learning in school. Now, if teachers are teachers and they're supposed to be teaching in schools, why is it that they are not teaching us about our roots? And we are the ones who basically started everything from culture to even people being here in the first place. Okay? But then I saw all my ECI family here, and I realized that moving them to Charlotte isn't a good idea. Now, me only living around the corner from ECI, I'm late every day, and they can tell you that. Now, we can say I'll take 35% of that blame, but point is, I know, because I graduate this year, but if I was to graduate next year and say we did move to Charlotte, I swear to God, I'm late. I'm not getting on no bus to go all the way out to Charlotte. Because not only is that money, not only is that gas when my mom gets her car back on the road, or gas for any other student that gets back on the road, but who about to take all of their time to wake up early in the morning to go all the way to Charlotte? And then these kids take MCC classes. You think a bus driver gonna go all the way from Brighton to Charlotte and back to, you feel me? Like it just don't make sense at all. So if you want the graduation rates to rise, because you already heard what they said, and I'm not about to keep going over and over it. You heard what they said. And if you want all of that to go, if the student lives really matter, 1, push Pan-African studies into that school, especially because the majority of the schools are African-American students. That's 1. 2, attendance rate matters. And 3, we all got to graduate. Class of 2017 and on, you know what I'm saying? We lit. So keep ECI where it's at and push Pan-African studies, baby.
Mr. Hill, it will be followed by Nasir Addison. Nasir Addison.
30, come up here, man. I need you right here, boy. That's my support right there. All right, my name is Jacarl Hill, as you said. 1, I'm a graduate of ECI, so shout out to my peoples out there. Love y'all. Y'all already know myself. All right. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, excuse me. But I'm here with Teen Empowerment today. You know, we had the rally beforehand. And basically, like we said, it's about the Pan-African studies. And my point of view and my perspective on that is the fact that it's sad, first off, that our history and black history has been divided. There is no reason why we should talk about history, and then some people say that it's a difference between the history that we have and black history, because U.S. history is just as much black history as it is European. That's first off. And second, there is no reason why we spend 12 years in school to get a diploma, but we have to wait till after that diploma to find out certain facts about certain people that, of our black history. We learn about Malcolm, we learn about MLK, but what about those hidden figures, as Kiara said, Kiara said, you know what I'm saying, about those, and then also people like, I forgot what the poster said. It was some lady that came here with a poster that I grabbed about a lady who sat on the bus before, 9 months before Rosa Parks when she was only 15. But I had to learn that after I graduated from RCSD, spending 12 years of my life to learn something that is whitened down. Excuse me if you feel offended, but that is what it is. As much as we talk about structural racism, that is exactly why Pan-African Studies curriculum is not mandatory. When I look at my list, or some of these people look to choose their classes, Pan-African Studies is not a major. It is not right there with U.S. history or global history where it should be, because history is history itself. So I say give people the education. It may be one semester you teach U.S. history where people feel like it's more European, then you teach Pan-African, but tell the black version. Because as much as we have white, we shall have black, because equality and equity is nothing without both sides of the story, period.
Yeah, go ahead. Mr. Addison?
How you doing? My voice a little hoarse. I was out during the rally. My name is Nasser Addison, Youth Advisor at Teen Empowerment. I'm here to talk about the Pan-African American Studies. Trips kind of said it all, but I'm going to just speak from the heart. I like jewelry, and when I look at jewelry, I see all the links on the chains to the necklaces that I might wear all together, which is going to make all my jewelry shine. You know what I mean? So if I transfer that jewelry over to my education, ain't no way that y'all going to teach us all about our history. We're leaving links out of there and expect us to be able to shine. You know what I mean? So that's all I'm going to say. I appreciate it.
We're now about to move on to another part of our speaking agenda, but let's take the time to realize again what just happened. People express themselves in a positive, you may agree or disagree with what they said, but they express themselves in a very positive, productive, articulate, powerful way. Let's give everybody a round of applause for doing that in a peaceful way too. That was wonderful. Now we have Jeanette Gonzalez, followed by Deirdre Irvin. Hello.
So my name is Jeanette Gonzalez. I am an employee of the City School District. I also have my son who goes to Rochester Early College. I'm speaking today on behalf of him. I believe that the structure and the structure that we have created for them at Early College is something that is very important. You have a bunch of young people who come from that school. I've sat in these meetings many of times, and they do articulate and speak very well. The reason why I'm here is because my son has came to me with some issues about school being moved. My problem is that I'm just finding this out on Friday. I don't know when this decision was made. I don't know when you guys came up with the situation of moving schools. But when you are developing a child and a child is becoming a man or a woman, it can be very easily derailed and my whole thing is, you guys spoke so well that I don't even know what to say anymore. But to think about making Charlotte the campus for Early College is just, with a co-ed population, makes me nervous. I worked with the Charlotte campus before, and I know how rough it was with the co-ed community. But because he wanted to graduate with his class, I have accepted him to stay at Early College. Now I feel like I made a mistake. If you guys change my school, what will happen to what he believes in? And when we say commitment and consistent and make sure you trust who you're talking to, what you say, what you speak about, how do we do that when we change their focus on what they're doing? So with all intention and all great, I hope that you guys keep my children at our Rochester Early College on Genesee, or MCC.
Deirdre Irvin will be followed by Marcella Davis. Marcella Davis, if you're here, if you could stand to Ms. Irvin's right, or left, I'm sorry.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Deidre Irvine, and we heard ECI's side of merging with leadership. I'm a parent of a child that attends Leadership Academy for Young Men. He's in 10th grade, has been there since 7th grade, and merging will not be a good idea. When they were there with Charlotte High School, Charlotte being a co-ed school, there's a lot of difficulty going in with that, and with Charlotte not wearing uniforms, like leadership wears uniforms, it causes animosity between the students, bad animosity, whereas this person gets to wear jeans and sneakers, and I have to have a tie and a suit, look appropriate. And sometimes the kids that have their street clothes on, they kind of feel some way too, like, wow, look how studious that student looks that has on the suit and tie, and I'm coming to school dressed in street clothes. But I say this to say, all the students that spoke about not wanting to come to Leadership Academy, all of their points are good. Merging a co-ed school with an all-boys school is not a good, it sets them up for failure. So I just wanted to voice my opinion on that and to think really hard on not merging the schools, leaving Leadership Academy for Young Men by themselves. We like it that way.
Marcella Davis will be followed by Ricardo Adams.
Hello.
Hello.
Today I come to represent not only my 2 children, but every child that attends early college who will be affected by this move. Early college was supposed to be put in place to design, develop, and support schools that make earning a college degree accessible, affordable, and attainable. This program is supposed to promote social and economic mobility by restructuring educational expenses for students who are traditionally underrepresented in higher education. The distance from Charlotte to the Brighton campus, for students must be considered in this decision, as well as bus transportation, which will be provided, by the RTS. As parents, we are concerned that the passes that the students will use are on a time restraint. Will these passes allow them to catch another bus and arrive at a later time? There are also concerns with the co-ed integration of the schools sharing a space, with the Leadership Academy feeling as though the females may be a distraction to an all-male population. At the time Charlotte was shut down, they had a graduation rate of about 37%. Early college currently has a graduation rate of about 75%. This decision is not fair to students, and they are being misled. Wilson Foundation was supposed to be a temporary swing school location with plans for early college to be located at MCC. 7 years later, there has been no attempt on the school board's behalf to keep their word. No. When will MCC be able to house early college? As parents, we will not sit idly by for another 7 years and continue to allow our students to be misled.
Ricardo Adams will be followed by Dr. Walter Cooper.
Good evening. I can't stay focused. I need to say this. This Pan-African Studies thing is not going to be good for these kids of color, man. The white kids need to be getting that too, so that when they grow up, they don't be wanting to kill us, be judgmental of us, or feeling some kind of way when we get near them. So it's not just for the kids of color. It's for all kids need to get some of that history. But I'm here representing school number 10, Dr. Walter Cooper Academy. we talking about things that matter. I've always believed the parents' voices matter. And what I've done to enhance that voice is I've become a part of the PTO, the school base, and I'm putting time in volunteering. But I need some respect. Let me give you a quick example. I'm an old school person. You know, Michael Jordan, if I played on his team, he wouldn't have to give me the ball, but he'd have to look at me, at least make me think he thought about passing the ball. You know what I'm saying? Just look at me and make me think that. The same thing I'm saying to the district. We got these things in place called school base and PTO, and parents are coming to decisions, and you're not even giving not only you're not going along with our decision, you're not giving us any input back, saying, this is the reason we ain't going with the decision, man. You have to. Parents' voices do matter, man. These are kids. These are kids. And that's all I'm asking you for is a little bit of R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Thank you.
That's old school. That's old school right there. You know, Mr. Adams, I didn't know where you were going with that Michael Jordan thing, but it made sense once you finished that analogy. That was a powerful analogy. Just look at me. Make me think you're going to pass me the ball. Amen. Dr. Walter Cooper, I don't see him here. Is he?
He's here.
Oh, there he is. All right.
Let's give a standing ovation to Dr. Cooper.
And Mr. President, it must be important because the last time Dr. Cooper spoke at a board meeting was, I believe Dr. Cooper was July 7th, 1960.
Yes, you're correct, and it
Was
was
it?
to
Wow.
defend the right of 900 students in schools 3, 4, and 19 to a full-day education. There had been an administrative decision to provide those students with a half-day of educational service. And the protest statement was written in terms of the country was only 3 years, less 3 years removed from Russia orbiting Sputnik #1 in October 1957. And so the American educational system was about the task of trying to revitalize itself with great emphasis on math, science, and technology. So the chairman of the board was a judge, Judge Jacob Gittleman. And he was able, with some persuasion, to get the board to reverse the decision. And that's written up on the August 20th, 1960 Board of Education's deliberations. I'm here tonight to support the staff at Dr. Walter Cooper Academy. The role I've played there has been supportive. Books, monies for summer schools for reading, and other services which are required for a good educational experience. So I come to you with the hope that you would reconsider the idea of extending the school day further than it is today. I spend lots of time at the school, and I know of the hardships that further extension of the school day would have on the students and certainly their parents. I always like to feel that here in Rochester, we can do it. For some unknown reason, we haven't done it. But to hear the young people tonight and to hear comments from the board, I'm certain if we all hang together, we can achieve what we're after, a quality education for all of our children. But I support the staff's recommendation at school number 10, and I thank you for the time.
Thank you, Dr. Cooper. Thank you again, Dr. Cooper. Mary Green will be followed by Jordan Pickett. Mary Green, Jordan Pickett. And she will be followed by Mary Krieger. If Ms. Krieger is here, you could stand to her left. Thank you.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
I'm here to represent Early College. If you don't know me, I was a part of the founding class and the first valedictorian of Rochester Early College International High School. I completely disagree with moving Early College to Charlotte, and I'll tell you why. We grew up on Genesee. I know I did. I know if I was still in school, I would not be traveling all the way to Charlotte. There's no way. And I also graduated as a sophomore in college because I graduated with 27 MCC credits. There is no way that would happen if students had to commute from Charlotte to MCC. There is no way. Where are cars? Where is transportation? Are you providing that as well? Because that's the only way I can see that it could be accommodated without, let's not even add the whole co-ed situation. Let's just not talk about that. But, like I said, I'll keep it brief. I disagree completely, and I don't think it would be a step forward in ensuring these students' college education. So, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Krieger. Shalon Walker.
Hello, everybody. I'm Mary Krieger. I'm going to change the subject a little bit. I've been employed with the Rochester City School for almost 20 years. Most of that time, I had to have another job to supplement my income. I'm a paraprofessional at School 28, and I'm with the Children's Institute in a primary project program. My work really is only 6 hours a week, but I'm there mostly 5 days a week. I work with the children that are from kindergarten to 2nd grade that need special adjustments in their lives, social skills, tragedies that happen that nobody else can handle at the time. And I work on reports, follow-ups, computer entries, and consultations with teachers and parents. I include myself in many hours of special activities. My own money is used on supplies and social events for school and for parent activities. All this and more, and I don't even make the cost of living. I'm including all of us from the primary project program. Because of budget cuts, they also took away our senior associate that traveled to each school to keep us working accurately and teach us newcomers, which wouldn't include me, but the newcomers on how to really work the program to keep it working right. I am speaking on behalf of all of the child associates at Primary Project. Our pay has to be adjusted to match the cost of living. That's all I'm asking for. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Krieger. Ms. Walker will be followed by Stefan McDonald.
Hello and good evening. I'm Shalon Walker. I'm here to speak on behalf as a paraprofessional and a low hourly rate. I'm a parent liaison at School 42. I worked in the district for over 19 years now. In addition to my written job description, I also do the following: picking up students' medications from their homes, manage food leak, backpack programs, coordinating and attending after-school community family events, create monthly newsletters, assist nurses in contacting parents to update child's immunizations, coordinate school community partnerships, work with Life Touch to organize picture days, assist with writing the Title I grant to support parent participation, home visits with admin, teachers, social workers, or the school psychologist, help maintain food cupboards and the clothes closets, refer parents to outside resources, sit in parent-teachers, admin conferences, assist in monitoring cafeteria during lunch, manage fundraisers, clerical, writing late passes daily, The new and prospective students, I do the tours of the school building, sit in CPS meetings. The hourly wage that is given to paras is utterly ridiculous. We need a living wage increase to survive on. We are called upon daily to help and assist in every aspect, but are not recognized or appreciated when it comes to receiving our raises. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Walker. Stefan McDonald, to be followed by Josh Mack.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Right now, I'm accompanied by a former alumni, Devontae Walker. He's currently a college student at North County Community College. And this is Prophet Hampton. He's a junior at Rochester Early College High School. My name is Stephen McDonald. I've been a school counselor at the Rochester Early College International High School since it opened in 2010. I've seen a lot of people come and go, but I remain because I believe in what early college can do for young people. We have sold out gyms during basketball season, which brought the entire community together. If we move, we will no longer be able to have our own teams or combine with Wilson Commencement's athletic teams. Sports and other extracurricular activities are something that we are proud of as a school, and that should not be taken away from the students. We have conducted an annual fashion show where local designers shared their work with our scholars, and young women were taught that confidence is key. We even started a young men's group called Young Black Males Achieving Daily, where participants vowed to attend college and not be a part of the school-to-prison pipeline. Yeah. Students have had the opportunity to travel to and study in China, which is an opportunity these students may not have had if they went to school anywhere else. What we do works, so why do we get punished? Why do the students have to suffer? We have had a graduation rate above 70% for the last 3 years. We should be exalted, yet we get disrespected. Early college scholars are like big brothers and sisters to the Wilson Foundation Academy students we share space with. Scholars often complete their community service hours by helping out in the Wilson Foundation classrooms. One of our alumni, Devontae Walker, who's standing with me today, who also won the Scholar Athlete Award from the RCSD while in high school, recently completed a project in college about running a free basketball clinic for young children in the 19th Ward. He plans to implement this project with the Wilson Foundation students on June 12th during our Day of Caring at Early College High School. Forget about politics and bureaucracy. Early college is all about students. Don't destroy what we've worked so hard to build. Don't cast us out unjustly. Would you like to be thrown out of your home? The students deserve a quality education and a safe school environment in their own community. Early college scholars, I'm going to finish right there, but I just want to say everybody that came out tonight, early college means so much to me, and obviously it means a lot to you too, so thank you so much for supporting. We appreciate it.
Josh Mack, to be followed by Lisa Englert. Lisa Englert. Again, I apologize if I mispronounced your name. Then Deanne Finewood. Deanne Finewood.
Okay. My name is Lisa Englert. I'm a science teacher and the RTA building rep at Rochester Early College. On Friday, May 12th, the RTA president, the ASAR president, my principal, Uma Mehta, Kathy Diener, my colleague and RTA rep, and myself sat down to discuss frustrations with the district's impending proposal to move us to the Charlotte campus. It was stated at that time that if the two principals involved could agree on a viable solution or options, that the superintendent would not be opposed to it. Last week, the two principals did discuss viable options, specifically options numbers 2 and 3 on the sheets that you're getting. And I understand at this time that the discussion was rescinded. However, that doesn't make the options any less viable for those involved. As teachers, we understand that our classroom space isn't our personal space, that it's district space. Does this not also apply to district administrators? The building at 200 Genesee Street is a viable option to house these two schools with the least impact for all of those involved. Thank you for your consideration.
Diane Finewood to be filed by Erica House. Diane Finewood to be filed by Erica House.
Good evening.
Good evening.
We are here tonight due to poor planning on the part of the district, which stems from an agreement made back in 2009. Now the district has run out of time and is scrambling to come up with a solution. On March 27th, a district employee met with Rochester Early College staff to inform us that in September, we would have 4 classrooms on the MCC campus and to discuss possible options to relocate Early College since Wilson Foundation was in need of space. Concern was expressed about the Charlotte campus at that time as not being a viable option. Staff was told it may be possible for Early College to remain at Wilson Foundation for 1 additional year while the district works out a more permanent solution. How do we continue to trust when trust continues to be broken? On April 13th, the same district employee came to Early College to inform our principal that Early College would remain 1 year at Wilson Foundation. On May 4th, the DNC reported that if Early College were moved to the Charlotte campus, it would be impossible for students to attend college classes due to the long bus ride, which could cause some Rochester Early College's grant funding to be revoked if college attendance declined. On May 18th, the DNC reported that the Leadership Academy was promised a building to itself and the negative impact it would have on their school if Rochester Early College were to join the Charlotte campus. On May 16th, once again, the district employee, along with 3 other district employees, met with the Early College staff to inform us that we would not be getting the 4 classrooms at MCC and we were moving to Charlotte. The trust is broken. At the same time, district employees promised minimal crossover between schools. The students, we would not come into contact together. We obtained information that leadership and Early College are slated to share common space, and the recommendation was for Early College to move to full-year courses instead of semester scheduling. Once again, this trust is broken.
Ma'am?
These possible decisions, will be detrimental to both schools. This is unacceptable. The dysfunction and lack of follow-through made by the district undermines the success at Early College, which includes high graduation rates and the ability for students to earn free college credits while attending high school. The message is clear. The district does not have the best interests of our students, their families, or teachers in mind.
Students follow the rules. Teachers don't. Nobody follow the rules.
Ms. Finewood will be followed by Erica House. Now let me remind folks, we have applauded our young people for speaking very powerfully and respectfully and peacefully to the challenges that are before them. And they have followed the rules. I must ask the adults to do the same thing. The reason why you have time as adults to speak is because each of our young people followed the rules and spoke for 2 minutes. I'd ask that the adults respectfully do the same thing. Thank you. Ma'am.
Hi, as you know, my name is Erica House. My name is Erica House, and I was first hired by this district in 1971. Presently, I am an ELA 2 and an ELA 4 teacher at Rochester Early College International High School. They are my family, and I'm here tonight to defend them. I have seen many decisions made by previous school board members which reflected obvious care and concern for the academic welfare of the district students who they were responsible for. However, the decision proposed by the members of this school board to relocate Rochester Early College to Charlotte does not take into consideration the academic, social, and emotional concern of my family. And let me make one thing clear. Nobody messes with my family. Hold on. Some of my students have composed personal letters, which I will give to you, expressing their feelings about the decision to move our family to Charlotte. And I'm going to give them to you in a minute. What I have also are 3 students that I did interviews with today, and they have consented for me to give you their remarks because they are not able to be here or whatever. First one, Michael Corcoran Perez is graduating June 22nd from Rochester Early International College, would like to let you know, quote, I am the first boy in my whole family to graduate high school. I was able to do so because of the teachers and classes at Rochester Early College. Graduation is nothing to fool around with because a diploma gets you places for your future. Rochester Early College has it set up to get you there. How can you take these opportunities from scholars in school behind me? Hold on. Tonaire Hardy, planning to graduate in June of 2018, would like you to know the guy-to-girl ratio at Charlotte will be too crazy. It will affect the junior ROTC family. Brianna Lundy, who is here today, planning to graduate in June 2019, I'm almost done, would like you to know, do not move us because it will mess up our great graduation rate, putting us with an all-boys school, defeat the purpose of graduating on time. She intends on going to Spelman College. I'm almost done.
Ma'am.
These remarks in the students' letters are proof. How dare you disregard the students' feelings, and how dare you turn your back on my family?
You give it to her. Give it to her.
Give it to the clerk.
Give it to the clerk.
Give it to the clerk.
And finally, Richard Holland. Richard Holland.
Good evening and thank you.
Good evening.
My name is Rick Holland. I've been a teacher in the district for 14 years. The past 3 years, I've been a teacher at Rochester Early College. Sometimes I wonder what it's like to be one of my scholars, though. Specifically, what if I was one of my scholars with autism at Rochester Early College? I would know that research says predictability in my routine and environment reduces my anxiety, supports my executive functioning, language, and social deficits. If I was a scholar with autism, I would know that I feel safe and welcome at Rochester Early College. I would know that I have strong relationships with my peers, teachers, and support staff. If I was a scholar with autism, I would know that the school district is recommending that I move buildings for the 4th time in 5 years. I would be very confused about this. If I was a scholar with autism, I would wonder why I wasn't receiving the same access and equity as my peers in the district. I know that it would be, thank you. If I was a scholar with autism, I would know that when I transition to a post-secondary setting, I will experience even more significant and unique challenges. I would know that remaining at the Wilson Foundation campus or transitioning to a college campus would be in my best interest. If I was a scholar with autism, I would feel like a member of the Rochester School District. I know many scholars with autism. They don't want to be members of anything. They want to belong to something. Please help them feel that they finally belong and consider keeping them at Wilson Foundation campus or supporting their transition to a college campus.
Thank you, Ms. Allen. That concludes our speakers list. We don't normally, as you all know, respond to that. We just listen. I just want to note for the record, there's been no decision made on what's going to happen to any school that's been mentioned tonight. So I know a couple folks have said a decision's been made. That is not accurate. I'm not saying what the decision is because, quite frankly, the board hasn't deliberated on it just yet. We don't even have a proposal or recommendation from the superintendent. So at this particular time, I want you to know, on behalf of the board, no decision has been made. All right? So now we've got a lot of other items to consider on our agenda that don't involve things that aren't on your agenda but are on ours. Let's begin with our superintendent reports. Dr. Nelms.
evening, commissioners and community. Just want to applaud the students for speaking up and speaking out. Incredible job, incredible job. Tonight, I am here to talk about what's happening at East this month. It is the month of May, as you all know, in schools can be a bit tough. I think kids are getting nervous about graduating, and everyone's tired and ready for the summer. And so I think it's a great opportunity to actually thank our community as well as celebrate some of the successes of our students. So the second slide, if you will, I don't have it. I'll take it. I want to thank many of our area donors. We have an incredible community. I think we saw that before the public session with Carla from a local company sponsoring lacrosse. But there are many donors throughout Rochester who are incredible advocates for our students. I want to thank the donors from the Cohen Foundation and Ferris Foundation for sending our 8th grade students to DC next week, and I pray for their safety and their comfort. The students are extremely excited, and they'll be gone from Wednesday to Friday, and it's a Cadillac of trips. They start their day at the Baltimore Aquarium, and they make their way over to the Holocaust Museum and African American Center where they get a private showing, and then they're going to end their week at Howard University where they'll get a chance to meet some local students and students at Howard University and to talk about careers and majors. And so I'm really excited about that trip. Also, our 1214 program, students who are wheelchair bound are graduating from the Equa Center program where they assisted in training horses and teaching them different commands. And they get a chance to do their graduation ceremony next week and get a ribbon for that. And also, I am very happy to announce that the Eastman Institute of Oral Health has a Smile Mobile on East Campus for our students, and in 2 years, we plan to have 4 dental chairs located as we expand our community school model. Also, our Vision Care program, today I have a video for you. This is not just for East students. Over 800 pairs of glasses were created this year for area Rochester students, and most of those students come from all the schools throughout Rochester. Our teacher, Logan Newman, and his team are incredibly responsive to needs of our students. Imagine 800 pairs of glasses, 800 different students who can now see the chalkboard and feel confident in their schooling, and we hope to double that next year as we partner with the Flom Eye Institute at the University of Rochester to double the amount of students and families that we support. So I want to show this promotional video, and we're going to get it to the superintendent and her team, and hopefully it's played in every single school so that we can get as many students with corrective of eye vision care as possible. Do you have it? The video? Okay. She doesn't have, you have it. It's a pretty cool video. Yeah, thank you. And so our students said we have to make wearing glasses cool. And so that was the attempt of the vision care students. And again, over 800 students this year received glasses. And our students at East, for those who don't know, they actually do the eye exams with local doctors, and they actually manufacture the glasses to ensure that every student gets the glasses. And the cost of those glasses is $0. They're free to every student who gets exam at East. And again, it's a district-wide service, so I'm really proud of that. I heard a few students talk about the importance of Pan-African and African-American history. And we're really proud to partner with the Gateway Music Festival. It's a festival that features nearly 100 different classically trained musicians of African and African-American descent. And there is a six-day long festival. It ends on August 13th with a grand concert, which is free to the community from 4 to 6 p.m. That's August 13th. And we're encouraging every single community member to attend. Our students are lucky enough to be able to have access to those musicians, and we're going to spend some time attending those events. But it's a free event to the community. Some amazing artists and musicians are present, and I really, this is more of a community message. I really need the communities to come out and support this, not just financially, but also socially. And we need a diverse group of individuals at this event. And the Gateway Music Festival is a great opportunity to partner, and they're looking for additional partners as well. I also want to take the time to thank Sharon Stiller. Sharon is a local attorney, and she has a passion for the arts, and she has decided to sponsor and give a sizable donation to students to build a summer arts program and focused on just creativity. And she looks to get 30 students the first year, track those kids over 4 years, so by the end of 4 years, it'll be 120 students who have access to various art exhibits in the community, have opportunities to enhance arts and vision arts and pottery and all the cool stuff they're going to do. But it's a summer-wide initiative for our students, and hopefully we'll have 120 students going through this. And I really thank Sharon for being a huge advocate for our students and all the students of Rochester. East, there are a ton of East graduates, and some of you in this room. And we have tried tirelessly to get as many alumni to come back and be supportive of East. Finally, we have an alumni website where we are looking for, so if you know any East graduates, past, present, and those that will be here in the future, who are looking to come back and volunteer or to be part of East or to see East in its transformation, we're asking you to share the information that will be on the board's website. It's also a website on the East website, getting people to come back and re-engage in the community. We know that history is important in our community, and having a connection to something is even more important. So we have an Alumni Network website launched. It just launched last week, and we are looking to get as many of East alum to re-engage. We have an event in October doing a football game as a homecoming event. We'll have a VIP section to re-engage those East alum just to become part of our school and to call East once again their home. And the last event that I spoke about last week and I'll speak about again tonight, we are lucky to have one of the leading thought leaders in the country, if not the world, around equity and education. He will be at East High on Thursday, June 1st at 6 p.m. It is free to the public. There are about 1,400 seats, so first come, first serve, but we're looking to get as many people there as possible to hear this tremendous individual. And the next day, he will be doing some professional development with our staff, and the board has been invited to that, as well as others in the audience who would like to attend. But the second day is really professional development for the staff. But on June 1st at 6 p.m., it is a free event. I encourage you to come out and hear what he has to say and to think about how we might transform Rochester collectively. And I can't, last but certainly not least, I can't end by saying to the board, thank you for your consideration tonight for a resolution that formally partners East High with School 33 as we focus on the community school. I see many people in the community, in the audience, who support this endeavor. I know those on board as well. It is critically important that students have a strong sense of foundation in the elementary schools and also have a pathway in the future to look forward to in high school. We hope that this partnership solidifies that purpose. And I thank the board for being very courageous in their action tonight in considering this resolution, because it truly could be transformative for Rochester's community and focusing ourselves back on community and neighborhood-wide schools. So thank you.
Any questions for Dr. Nouns? Commissioner Adams?
I just have a quick question regarding developing the alumni.
Yep.
Is there any possibility of inquiring with the University of Rochester about employees who are also East alums and seeing if there's any way to encourage, reach out, maybe, support them if they have a few hours away from work, that kind of thing?
Absolutely, yeah. And it really began, Mary, from Commissioner Adams, from a lot of alumni come say, I graduated in 1960 or I graduated in 1980, and us not really having a formal way of engaging them. And so we're going to create some business cards, so whenever we're out in public, someone says, I'm an East alum, here's the card, here's the website, go to it, and try to also use social media as a platform. But University of Rochester is not excluded from that, but really trying to see those who are in the community. And there are a ton of successful alum who are looking to get back and supporting all of our schools. And so hopefully, we'll see networks, alumni networks for all of our schools in Rochester at some point. But it's something that's been demanded upon by many people in the community, very successful people who are trying to give back in many different ways.
I don't know if he'd like me to say it, but the virology lab director of the pretty significant research lab that I interact with is an East alum.
Right.
So I'm thinking of, he's an extremely busy person, has a lot of commitments to the university. It's not easy to get away. That's why I was asking the question about if there's any way, and it could be with other employers as well. But since there's this relationship with the U of R, it seems like it might be something to put in the back of your mind to make a request.
Absolutely, we'll do. Thank you.
Dr. Nelms, who did that video? Who produced
that? Was Justin Ortiz.
Oh,
he's
okay.
a local
I know
videographer.
Justin very well.
Justin's a great guy. He's a local videographer, and he's done a lot of the videos for the optics and vision care and culinary programs over the years.
Excellent. It was excellent. Well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
What happened to the restaurant program?
Yeah, so Rice, I think I included that in the board letter. Rice was a not-for-profit that East partnered with. And so as a not-for-profit, it's a very risky business when you don't have the established funding. And so the Metris family, and I thank them incredibly, struggled financially with the project. Since then, Danny Wegman has offered a job, or is willing to offer a job to every student who worked at Rice. In the meantime, another donor, in the meantime, supported the purchase of their tuxes for the prom, graduation and prom tickets. And so the community has really supported the students who are part of that. At the same time, we are building our infrastructure within East so that students can have the customer service related opportunities there. There's also an opportunity for us to reopen, and that's being discussed right now. But if it reopens, it's going to be more of a school-led event where we go get a business or a corporation to support, as opposed to us joining someone else's design.
Well, I want you to know, I personally made the sacrifice to eat there multiple times. But the food was delicious. It was very good. It was very good.
Yeah.
Dr. Nelms, before you go, and a real quick answer. I know it probably deserves much more time than this. How are we doing on the stretch? This is the final stretch for our graduates for the class of 2017. Short summary. How are our kids doing?
They're doing well, I think that this is a stressful time of the year. I think every educator in this room would say that. I mean, kids are buckling down, teachers are giving the extra credit and trying to give that extra chance, and they are definitely stepping up. I mean, I think that by August we should not reduce our graduation rate. Let me say that. Where it will be at the end will be dependent on how students finish at the end. This was the last cohort of kids. For example, most of our kids this year had not taken the English exam before their senior year, which is typically offered in their junior year. But so many of them had failed ninth grade year that they got a year behind. And so this is the last cohort of kids who are significantly behind academically with their credits. And Barb will tell you, far of cheating, you can't catch kids up when they're that far behind entering their senior year. So for those students, it may be a 4th and 5th year type of graduation number to look at. But for the kids who are current sophomores and juniors, we know those kids are much further ahead than the kids who are seniors this year. And I don't want to say a number because you're holding to it, but I will tell you that the kids and the projections we have for our current juniors going to seniors is very promising.
All right, well, we look forward to seeing that if we're still around.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, thank you very much. All right, we're going to do something a little bit different because Dr. Nelms has always presented some attractive, entertaining, promising video about what's going on at East High School. So you all may recall, I said, well, we got to see some of the stuff that's going on in the balance of our schools because I know there's a lot of good stuff going on. And so Barbara has prepared or has something arranged for our colleagues?
Yes, and we look forward to the invitation to have one of our schools here during each meeting, President White. And today I want to introduce Principal Owens and Chief Shavi are going to come up and share, I think, some of the good work that is going on at School Without Walls. So thank you.
God bless you.
So Principal Owens is iconic, I believe now, in Rochester, so I don't think that she needs much introduction. But what I do want to say, it is an honor to serve among Dr. Owens and her team. School Without Walls is an awesome, awesome educational facility, and every time I walk into School Without Walls, I am inspired by the young men and women there and also by the educators there. The name itself speaks to the mission there, and it truly is a representation of our school community, but also lifting the voices of our young men and women. So I'm going to move away from this microphone because I know you will do it justice here, but truly, I know many of our commissioners have been to School Without Walls, and Vice President Elliott is probably one of our greatest champions of School Without Walls, so thank you for that. And what I will say to you is, if you have not been at School Without Walls, please, please go there. It is truly inspiring. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Owens. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Idonia Owens. I'm the principal of School Without Walls. I have been so since 2005 when I went and founded the middle school on North Clinton. And in 2010, I actually took over the principalship of the high school at 480 Broadway. Thank you, Amy, for that lovely introduction. I need to tell you that what she said was absolutely true. On any given on any given day, when you walk into School Without Walls, there is a sense of feeling like you can finally breathe. There are no metal detectors. There are students out doing their work, having conversations in the hallway, talking to teachers, sitting in our commons area, engaged in various activities. Our school safety officer walks about and they call him Grandpa. It's a place where you will find work that is grounded in the work of Dr. Joy DeGruy. What she says is that the most important thing that we can do for our children is to develop relationships with them and to empower them and to understand them and to be culturally sensitive and to understand trauma and to treat them in an equitable manner. And these are all of the things that we aspire to do at School Without Walls. It's very rare that a School Without Walls student is suspended, and not because our students are angels. We have the exact same population that you will find all over the city. But we believe in restorative practices. We believe that there is a circle for this, that there's a conversation for this, that there's a letter for this, that there is a way to come to understand the feelings that may have led to an undesirable behavior. And so that is how we go about dealing with our kids. We want them to heal. We want them to be whole. We want them to feel like they are loved and not like they are judged and criminalized. And so I'm not going to talk too much more. We have 250 students. Our students, of course, are predominantly students of color. Our ELA passing rate is, well, it'll be 100% because all of our kids will graduate. I'm not sure what our graduation rate is. I couldn't actually find that data, but I can say that the few students that we do lose are students who we as a staff have visited, that we can tell you every single story of every single child who might not end up graduating, and there aren't many. And so we do hold on to our kids. We have a very low attrition rate. We do have a community service requirement of 75 hours every year for our students grades 9 through 12. And so if you do the math on that, it's about 79,000 hours of community service of people out in the community mentoring our kids, pouring into our kids, teaching them skills, teaching them how to function in the outside world, which brings me to the goals of School Without Walls, to help students develop responsibility for self and to help students learn how to live in a complex society, which we have right now. I could go on and on. I could be up here forever, as you all know. So I'm going to turn it over. I do have two guests with me. I have our distinguished teacher, Mr. Windsor Wade, and I have a distinguished graduate, Deja Whitfield, who Deja is in college at OCC, and when she is not in school or working, she is at School Without Walls, giving back. So, Deja, Windsor? Okay, come on, Deja.
Hi. My name is Deja Whitfield. Excuse me, I have a little bit of a cold. But I just want to give you guys basically my testimony. I've been attending School Without Walls since I was in 7th grade. So my whole high school career has been nothing but School Without Walls. And I honestly don't know if I can say I would be as successful as I am now if it wasn't for the teachers and just the support system. It's not even like going to school. It's like going to your second home when you go to School Without Walls. Because, you know, it's like you don't want to, I don't know how to explain it, but I remember anytime because I'm not perfect, you know, it took me, my teachers, they gave me guidance and they also was patient, they were also patient with me because it was like many steps that I had to take to get to where I am now. And I know if I would go to a non-traditional high school, who knows where I would be right now. So first off, I want to thank my School Without Walls family. I'm currently a Wegmans MI, so I'm in a managerial position, so I'm a management intern at the Canandaigua store. I'm full-time. I'll be doing that for 3 summers until I graduate with my bachelor's, and then I'll receive a full-time position in any market I would like to go to. I just want to give you guys, thank you. So I've been knowing Idonia since I was in 9th grade. And I've been in her, I'm not going to tell you how many times I've been in her office. But I stopped going to her office when I was 10th grade. I really stopped going there because the way we are disciplined we're disciplined to where we know we did wrong. We're not just, you know, sent home. But I remember my last time being in her office, she had me, you know, break down the scenario, the situation to her. And she repeated it. She didn't say anything. She repeated it back to me. And then I'm like, I'm stupid. I'm stupid. This is a dumb reason to be in here. And I feel like that's the best way to discipline our children because I also have nieces and nephews that are in the Rochester City School District. I feel like that's the best way to discipline our children because we know what we did wrong and we can acknowledge our wrong before anybody else can tell us. And that's basically the best way to teach kids. And that's how I was taught my whole high school career. When I was in 10th grade, I had a teacher, an African-American teacher. His name is Mr. Ed. And Mr. Ed, he actually knows my family, but prior to this incident, I didn't know he knew my family. He will always, you know, single me out of the whole class. You know, Deja, why are you talking? Why are you laughing? And I'm just like, you know, everybody else doing it. You know, it's not just me. And one day he pulled me aside, and he was telling me how he has an expectation for me. And I said, well, you know, Mr. Ed, you're giving me these high expectations, and you're mad because I'm not reaching them. And he said, I'm not mad that you're not reaching them. I'm mad because I know that's who you are. I know you can get there. You just don't want to get there. And after that conversation, I have never been in Dr. Idonia's office again for something stupid, okay? I also, my senior year, we do senior projects, and that was a stressful year for me. Not only does School Without Walls teach you, but they also make you learn how to go to college. They make it where we're prepared to go to college and like live in the real world outside of, you know, being behind mommy and daddy. And whenever this gentleman right here, Windsor Wade, he was my senior teacher. And anytime I would have a problem, it was never, oh, you need to fix this. It was, okay, now what is Deja gonna do next time? What is Deja gonna tell me differently when she sits with me? And I feel like that's the best way to learn, so that way we're not always looking for somebody to pat us or, you know, tell us what to do, but we actually know the answer ourselves. And we have the we have the intelligence, but we're not using it when everybody is, giving us is in our ear. And I just appreciate Windsor so much for making sure I knew that I could do it and not giving me the answers, even though he knew them because he knows all of them. But he didn't give me the answers, but he made me find the answers myself. And I really just want to thank School Without Walls so much. I want to thank Dr. Idonia. This is a very strong woman, a very strong woman. And she did not give up on me because I know she could have. I know she could have sent me away. She could have, told me to go home and not to come back. But out of all the dumb things that I did, she did not give up on me. And I'm just so glad that I'm as successful as I am now, and I owe it all to School Without Walls. Thank you.
Love you too. Now, how do I follow that? Oh, my goodness. Well, good evening, board. I've been a teacher in the district for 34 years, and 28 of them have been at School Without Walls. And I've been very blessed to have discovered this gym. We used to say that School Without Walls is the best kept secret in Rochester, but I hope we're not that best kept secret anymore. What we do there is that the child comes first. It absolutely does. I never had an opportunity to go to a school like that. I mean, the school was founded in 71. I got out of high school in 67. I can give my age away. So I never had the opportunity to experience that type of pedagogy. And I really would love if the district could find in its infinite wisdom to create other School Without Walls, to give kids an opportunity to learn how to be lifetime learners, learn how to use community resources to learn things they never thought they could learn. My role as an advisor is a really precious thing. Dr. DeGrew's philosophy of the 3 hats, we wear those 3 hats. The teacher, the mentor, the surrogate parent. And we take that role very, very seriously. We get an opportunity to meet with our kids once every 2 weeks. It's built into the curriculum. The community service component, as Dr. Owen said, gives our kids an opportunity to find out who they are. They do these internships and community services in situations where after they do it for a year, they might say, yes, I want to be a lawyer, or no way in the world I want to be a lawyer. Not anything against you, board chair. But it gives them an opportunity to network. It gives them an opportunity to have incredible goals. We're really proud of our graduation rate. Like Dr. Owen said, we have the same population as the demographics of other schools. But I think what we do with our kids, that personal relationship that we have with them, that respect, we really pride ourselves. They're not treated as criminals when they come to the building. Security is important, but we really think that when we look at our kids and treat them as distinct individuals, it makes a difference in their lives. It truly, truly does. A small population helps too. With 250, 260 kids, you can develop a very personal relationship with our kids. And it's a wonderful thing as an educator, as a man of color, when I'm out in the community. And I haven't seen some of our kids in 10, 15 years. And last time I saw them, they're my height, but now they're 6'4", and I'm at the public market. And it's like this, we're a first name basis, Windsor, and I'll say, what's your name again? It's good to see you. But it's wonderful because then they want to tell you what they've done in their lives. They've gone to college and they've got careers and they have families. I'm getting choked up here. It's a wonderful, wonderful school. When I retire, I don't know how I'll replace it. It's home.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just have a couple of closing remarks because I want to share with the board and with the audience that I have a very courageous staff. And this year, well, actually for the past 3 years, we have embarked on a journey of understanding implicit biases, understanding white privilege, understanding cultural competencies, understanding, yeah, we did the Black Lives Matter, we've viewed films, but they're doing some courageous work because they are doing the readings. We are deeply involved in the work of Dr. Joy, and almost every staff meeting, which are weekly, we have discussions that go deep and that can uncover some wounds that people have. Intergenerational trauma. Just today, our staff meeting, our staff took the ACE test so that we can actually take a look at what some of the traumatizing factors may have been in our individual lives, so that we can maybe figure out how those factors intersect with the trauma that our children come to school with every day. So it's very courageous work. I'm proud of School Without Walls. I'm proud of all of my students. I gotta give a shout out. School Without Walls student Brandon, hold your hand up. School Without Walls student Lane, hold your hand up. I think that both Brandon and Lane did something with, you too? Oh, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay. I think that these two did some work, some community service with the communications department, and here they are, employed by the district. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you to my wonderful representative. Thank you, thank you, thank you all for your support of School Without Walls over the years. We would not still exist had it not been from the strong support of the superintendent and the Board of Education. And of course, my chief. Where is she? Thank you, Amy.
Thank you. Idonia, there was a gentleman in the back raising his hand. Sir, are you a graduate? No, I just wanted to recognize him. Is he a graduate? Oh, okay. Sir, we're running a little bit behind schedule, but come on up. We want you to say a few words about your experience. Come on up. Let's give him a round of applause. I'm sure he can think of other things he'd like to be doing tonight.
I didn't see him back there. This is Chase Ivory Beckford. He is a freshman.
Okay.
Pretty much, I'm a freshman at School Without Walls. So far, I've actually enjoyed it. It's a pretty, it's a pretty decent school. The learning structure is totally different. I mean, you have way more opportunities to catch up on work, get work done in school, after school. Teachers are always there when you need them. I mean, you can call your teacher if you ever need help with something. The school is just very decent. I mean, the teachers actually interact with the students. They interact with the parents. Staff is very friendly. If you ever need anything, you can always ask them, and they'll always be there for you. So that's pretty much it.
Thank you very much. Vice President Elliott.
Mr. President, I just want to, as has already been stated, I'm a huge fan of School Without Walls, but I know that school would not be succeeding academically if it was not for Dr. Idonia Owens. I remember prior to Dr. Owens being at School Without Wall commencement, and the scores were in the 40s. Building was messy. So it really does speak to the leadership, the strong leadership, the love that she has for her students as well as staff that is causing School Without Walls to be one of our preeminent schools in this school district. And so I just want to share and honor her. It's her work that causes, if we were to do another School Without Walls, if we do not have the kind of leadership that we have in Dr. Owens, it's not going to work. So we certainly have to have that kind of leadership, and I so thank her so very much for her leadership. Thank you.
Sure. All right, that leaves us with our superintendent report from Barbara Dean Williams. I want to, because I know it's getting late, I do, Barbara, before you give your report, I want to recognize that we have Daquan Hilton here with us today. He is substituting for Mr. Cochran, I think it is, right? Who is our normal student rep. I happened to be at the Race Summit, and Mr. Hilton was one of the primary facilitators of the discussion there. So I wanted to recognize you and thank you for taking the time out this evening to substitute for Mr. Cochran, and also recognize you for the good work that you did at the Race Summit. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I really appreciate it.
Barbara?
Okay, before I begin my presentation, I want to present 2 awards for 2 of our board members. The New York State School Boards Association has a recognition program called School Board U, and it's designed to recognize the extensive time and effort of school board members who continually strive to expand their governance knowledge and skills. So I'm pleased to announce that for her participation in leadership development opportunities, that Commissioner Hallmark has earned the Board Mastery Award. So if you would just please join me in congratulating her. And Vice President Elliott has also participated in the School Board Association's Leadership Development Program, and I'm pleased to announce that she has earned the Board Lifetime Achievement. So could you please join me in congratulating Vice President? She laughed. That's because she probably knew I was going to do that. So we'll give this to her afterwards. Okay. So first of all, it's great to hear from so many of our residents and our students and our staff. And even though we have some complex and difficult challenges as we navigate many variables around space and planning, and certainly many opportunities to just improve our master planning process overall. And that's something that we plan to engage in starting July 1. A significant both instructional planning and facilities planning process that we will work through with the entire community and district as we really try to get a sense of what will be best for the future of education here in Rochester. So we appreciate the struggles and the challenges and the angst because this certainly is extremely complex, and as I said, will present an opportunity for us to take a larger look at the system. I want to give an update on the work that we're doing to support our students to have quality programs. And as you know, our academic programs are very important, but so too are our social emotional learning support programs, our preschool programs, summer learning, extended learning time and school day, and our partnerships with community service providers and funders throughout the Rochester community. At this time of year, we have many, many opportunities to celebrate student success, but I also want to thank those who have supported it because we have so much to be grateful for in this community. On Sunday at our annual transfer of flag ceremony, I was joined by President Van White, Commissioner Adams, Deputy Superintendent March, Chiefs Green and Mercedes Miller, and many, many principals, staff members, parents, family members, and community partners. We were able to recognize students from each school for their academic achievement and citizenship. And as you know, this is the district's longest standing tradition, dating back 128 years. Those students join an honored group of flag bearers before them, and I have no doubt will continue the legacy that will make us proud. I want to thank President White and Commissioner Adams for joining us and participating in the ceremony. And we certainly want to congratulate all of the honorees, students and their families, and all of the many staff members and partners who have supported them. I also want to recognize, and this is a very special event that has been going on for a number of years in Monroe County, where all of the area superintendents are able to recognize an outstanding senior from each high school in the county. And I always thought it was fun when I was in Greece that I got to stand up and recognize from 4 high schools, but I have to say recognizing 11 students was a true honor for me this year. They were selected by their by their principals, and they exemplify the best of our district's commitment to excellence. And so I want to congratulate each of those students and their families as well. As we discuss the important work of the district that lies ahead of us, we want to keep the talents of our students in the forefront. Their achievement really represents the promise and potential that every child in this district has. And it's really our obligation to create a strong network of schools with the kinds of community supports and wraparound services needed to lift each to graduation and the skills they need for life. So I want to share with you some exciting work that we've been involved with over the last month. Several months prior to that, we were working on the budget, attempting to keep as much support as possible focused squarely on students and the schools. And so we wanted now to shift our attention to three main goals. Our first is ensuring educational excellence, equity, and access for every student, strengthening student, family, school, district, and community engagement and partnership, and improving systems district-wide to support academic outcomes and meet the needs of students, families, and schools. And you're going to see a more robust build-out of those three goals, trying to keep things really focused on the things here that matter most. And what we know in this community matters are the relationships and the partnerships and the quality of each and every school as we begin to build out signatures of schools in our neighborhoods across the city. I'm excited to report also that we have engaged in a partnership with New York University Steinhardt Metropolitan Center for Research on Equity and Transformation of Schools. Some of you may know that the district was involved in this work a number of years ago, and it's a partnership with the New York State Education Department to provide training and support to school districts and school teams that are identified for having high rates of disproportionality. Earlier this year, our former executive director of special ed and now our state director, Chris Soriano, and I requested technical assistance from the Metro Center, which coincidentally is where Pedro Noguera was prior to going out to California. So this work is very important to him and foundational to this work that we do. So we have 5 schools that will be receiving additional support and assistance this year. And it's very, very well aligned with the great work that's already being done in our schools with Dr. Joy DeGroot Relationship Model of Intervention, and also the focus of many of our schools that are using restorative practice as the district works in partnership to implement the Code of Conduct, which was the result of a great deal of work, as you know, in this community with the task force. I do want to thank them, Ruth Turner, Jerome Underwood, and the community partners who have been invited to join this work. We have several that we have asked to come in directly to actually see the conversations and dialogue as this initiative gets underway. I also want to thank Ruth and her entire team, Ruth Turner, for the innovative work with the MK Gandhi Institute for Nonviolence. The Institute partnered with our own RCSD Rock Restorative team. As you know, many, many people across this district are very engaged in this important work. I'm very excited by it, and I hear great things and see great things as our students experience a restorative model. So this conference really was a significant opportunity for our teachers and our leaders and community partners and our families and students to get together and have a great conversation. And I want to thank Mayor Warren, President White, Commissioner Adams, Councilman Adam McFadden, and Superintendent Nelms, who also attended the event, and also Senator Gillibrand, who gave a video address to the more than 300 attendees. As you know, using restorative practice in schools and our judicial systems and community and faith-based organizations and mental health organizations partnering across the city is an important process to assist with healing harm and rebuilding relationships. And I especially enjoyed both speakers, Dr. Abdul Malik Muhammad and Dr. Christina Waddington, both obviously recognized thought leaders in developing and training in trauma-informed practice, cultural competence, diversity, and mindfulness. And we are particularly interested in expanding our knowledge base around trauma-informed practice, and are very excited about our community schools rollout and partnerships in the coming year as that funding is expanded and we're able to build out a more robust system throughout our city. So the last thing, maybe it's not the last, nope. As you know, I just want to thank Jerome Underwood. Reducing chronic absence is a district priority, and on May 18th, Jerome and the entire district team with our community partners and parent and employee volunteers conducted the last attendance blitz of the school year. So we're thankful to everyone who's consistently gone out knocking on doors to help remove barriers to better attendance. And we want to particularly thank the staff at the Monroe County Department of Human Services and Causeway Community Partners, Rock the Future, and the ESL Charitable Foundation for the important roles that they played in the effort. This year, just over 2,000 homes were visited. And noteworthy is that for the improvements in attendance next month in Denver, the Campaign for Grade Level Reading will be recognizing Rochester as a 2016 Pace Setter City. Along with our community partners, we'll redouble the efforts in 17-18 in order to consistently make improvements in attendance. And I also want to share some great news that wouldn't be possible without the vision and generosity of President Van White, and I'm talking about the Focus on Education initiative. This is a great example of striving for educational excellence while engaging community partners and meeting the needs of families and kids in schools. And on May 16th, I was pleased to join Aki and Brian Henderson from Henderson Ford as they presented a check to Andrea Langston and the Andrew Langston Center for Educational Excellence. Henderson Ford raised more than $5,000 for the center through a test drive promotion. And Focus on Education, as you know, encourages our students to reach benchmarks in academics, attendance, and skill development. We will have a student winner of a new Ford Focus, and those will be selected from the entries at random at the end of the school year. So in addition to the Henderson and Langston families, we want to thank Advantage Federal Credit Union, WDKX, and WHAM-TV for their support of our students. We are deeply, deeply appreciative of this kind of commitment. And last but not least, and she's not here, is she?
I don't see her.
She ran. Is she here? Lastly, I want to recognize Chief Beverly Burrell Moore. Chief Moore is announcing her retirement, and it's going to be acted on at this meeting. She served as an educator for more than 40 years. She served in the Rush Henrietta Central School District before coming out of retirement in 2012 to serve as an interim deputy superintendent. And she was instrumental in establishing a district-wide band and chorus, and she's very proud of that. I personally am grateful for her willingness to strive for educational equity and to build cultural competence in our district. She understands deeply the critical need for all of our children in Rochester to access high-quality learning in the school and the community is our classroom, as we like to say. So even though she's officially retiring, she's not going to be a stranger. We have sent her this spring to the New York City Leadership Academy, where she's been partnered with Wilhelmina Glover and a number of others in building her skills and expertise to come in support of our aspiring assistant principals and our principal pipeline that we are building in connection with the academy. So we expect to see her in the future, but I do want to extend a thanks and congratulations to Beverly. Thank you.
Any questions for the superintendent? All right, there being no questions, we'll next move on to board reports. Actually, we'll begin with noting that the student report, Mr. Cochran, submitted his final report in writing. I think all of you have a copy of that. His successor is named in that document. I think she will be attending our next meeting, our June meeting. So we look forward to that. Parent Council, is someone from the Parent Advisory Council here? Do we have a written report from them? We do? All right, so you guys can review that yourselves at your leisure. Bilingual Council, I know they submitted a report, I saw that. She couldn't come today, but there was a written report. Yep. Dr. Urbanski, Adam, hello, good evening. Just say hello to Adam. Hey, Adam. Adam, you know, you really blush a lot. All right, next, I guess we would move on to committee reports. We can begin with you, Commissioner Powell, in the middle of a yawn.
Yeah, sorry.
That's all right.
It's been a long,
Yes,
a lot of sitting, a lot of listening. The policy committee did not meet this month. Our next meeting is scheduled to be June 8th. That's the briefest report you'll ever hear from me. Thank
Well,
you.
that's good, and maybe the rest of us can follow that. I know I have some stuff to report, but I'm going to try to summarize my present report. We're running a little bit long here, but I'd ask that everybody do the same if it's possible, because we do have an executive session tonight. Commissioner
Oh, we
Hallmark?
do. Okay, yeah, I'll keep mine short, too. The Board Governance Committee convened on May 2nd to discuss the board's self-evaluations. We looked at a couple of different tools for self-evaluation because we hope to create a work plan using the self-evaluation tool for the next year. We also discussed the upcoming superintendent board retreat that's scheduled for July. And we're going to be providing the board with an opportunity to discuss our own evaluation and the master schedule and developing our action plan. So that's it for me.
Thank you, Commissioner Hallmark. Vice President Elliott had another pressing commitment that she had to attend to tonight. Commissioner Evans?
Sorry, my report's going to be brief, but not as brief as everyone else's.
All right.
The excellence of student. First off, let me thank the folks from Early College for coming tonight. I'm the liaison to Early College. I'm glad they came out, and I hope that more schools and more parents and students come out when they have an issue with the district. That's what they do in the suburban districts, and that's why the suburban districts have the results that they have, because they put pressure on the system. So for board members, it's good for us, because then we can look to the administration and say, you see these people out here, fix it. So I'm glad that people come out, and when you have issues, you should come out. I like that, especially as liaison to that school. The excellence in student, and also I would just say to my colleagues, I sent you a memo related to special education. As you know, it's been something that we've talked about in ESA ad nauseum forever. So I took information and things that we've talked about for the last 4 years and summarized it in a quick 5-page memo to you with some specific recommendations on things that we can do around special education. I hope that they are helpful, but I wanted to try to add color to the conversation because I know the superintendent is working diligently on special education, so I wanted to give you some thoughts. I won't charge you for it. The Excellence in Student Achievement Committee conducted a meeting of the whole on Thursday, May 4th. I'm not going to go through the entire meeting, but the three important items, 2 of which are up tonight, I believe. Actually, 1 of which we voted on at the budget hearing related to SUNY Geneseo. The other one is a resolution regarding the proposed partnership with School 33 and East High School. We made many modifications to that at the committee meeting, and I'm hoping that there is at least 4 votes here to support that tonight. We also got data regarding the career, technical, and education programs offered to students from the 2014-15 through the 2016-17 school year. And our next meeting is going to be on July 6th at 5:30 p.m. And those resolutions that I referenced, particularly the one related to East High School and School 33, are in your packet for consideration tonight. And thanks for everyone's support around the School 19 resolution from the budget meeting. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Evans. Commissioner Cruz?
Thank you, Mr. President. The Finance Committee met on May 25th. And, I'm sorry, May 22nd, Monday the 22nd. We considered a number of resolutions. They're in your package. We had a review of the financial report dated through April 2017. Went through all the details on that. I would like to present a motion to accept that financial report for April 2017.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
We also reviewed the third quarter elementary activities account and student activities fund report, and I also would like to put forth a motion to accept that as well.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Thank you. And this evening you have a number of recommendations, a number of resolutions with our recommendations. Resolutions 747 through 748 for procurement and supply, 749 through 758 for facilities, and then one resolution 759 as an other. All the resolutions, as normally we review them, and if there's any questions, we go into details. So you have all those resolutions coming before you as recommended by the Finance Committee. Our next Finance Committee is scheduled for June 8th at 5:30.
Thank you, Commissioner Cruz. I would just note that I owe Commissioner Cruz and the listening audience an apology. Last week I said this was Commissioner Cruz's last budget, and I think people misunderstood. It was the last budget that he was going to shepherd through the process. He has decided, much to many people's chagrin, not to seek re-election. So it was the last time he was going to present a budget as chair of the Finance Committee. But he's still going to be around for a while.
I'm here till December.
Till December. So he's not going
I
anywhere.
couldn't figure out why, as I was walking, talking to folks, everybody was happy. And then I realized,
No,
I'm still
not
here,
just
and
yet.
then people got serious.
But did they tell you about that write-in, that write-in that they're pushing for?
Ain't no write-in. Don't be putting ideas in.
Commissioner Adams.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Before I give my audit committee report, can I have a small personal privilege? So usually there's a division of labor where my husband tends to speak to school-specific issues more than I do. Commissioner Campos used to frequently talk about her experience at school, so I'm going to take a really, truly personal privilege to speak a little bit to the School 10 issue very briefly. Sure. I just want to make sure that it's really clear. Sometimes I beat things to death with outlining, but I just want to make sure that there's clarity on what was being said. The school-based planning team has developed, with full consensus, a proposal that involves expanded learning time continuing, but not increasing it even more than it is this year. And it's a very comprehensive, sound proposal it's very coherent. It's tied directly to very, concise and specific goals that were awarded in the form of a SIG grant, and it has continuity with that. Very solid proposal, embraced by the parents. And so the frustration is that there's been a kind of a rebuke from centrally regarding the school-based planning proposal that was brought with coherence and with consensus. And so there's a desire to have central response. If what has been proposed is somehow, not acceptable, then what you heard being articulated as a request for respectful acknowledgement that we actually do want robust parent involvement and teacher involvement and collaboration at the school-based planning team level, and that when coherent, great proposals are put forward, there's an expectation that central office will respond point by point with specific respectful feedback. So that's really what was being said, and I know it came through loud and clear, and I so appreciate Dr. Cooper coming and as always, being a stalwart leader for our school community. So I just wanted to add my support for what was said and just make clear that there's a total consensus from the school. People are together on it, and we're just asking for respectful handling of the school-based planning process from central level. So on to the audit committee. On May 25th, today's May 25th, the audit committee met on Wednesday, May 17th with Freed Maxick, the board's external auditor, to review the audit plan for the financial audit for the year ending June 30th, 2017. The committee discussed the plan and reviewed the timelines for receiving the audit results. Preliminary field work occurred this week, and the final audit work will take place in September 2017. Key dates for the audit include number one, the City of Rochester assurance will be provided by October 13th, 2017. The draft CAFR will be provided to the board by November 17th, 2017. I think that's a little bit earlier than usual. And the audit committee meeting with Freed Maxick to review the final results of the 2017 RCSD audit will be on December 12th at 5:30. All board members are invited to attend the meeting. There will be an audit committee meeting prior to that, but prior to the October one that's listed here, but that is yet to be determined. The committee also received an update from the Auditor General regarding the work that is currently being performed in response to the Comptroller's report. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Adams. I'd like to begin my comments in terms of President's report by noting some losses that we've suffered in this community. I know this committee has talked about these individuals extensively, but I thought it was worth noting as part of our official business, as I know the board feels this loss as the community does. Tony Bowler of WDKX, many of you may have remember him as the Quiet Storm voice, and then more recently on Memory Lane. And for those of you who didn't have the blessing or the opportunity to hear his voice, man, you really missed something. Additionally, Barbara was referencing earlier on WDKX's effort to give away a car along with Henderson family's dealership. And I had worked with Tony a number of years on DKX, and I have not been on DKX for about a year, and I was very fortunate to have the opportunity to hang out with Tony some more through this Henderson dealership thing. We were going around to schools talking, as Ruth knows, about this initiative. And you know, God just gives us all kinds of opportunities to connect with people when our busy schedules don't seem to want to make the time for it. And he was really a very gentle giant. And the great thing about Rochester is, and you all know this, we all have our own stories, there literally is 1 degree of separation in Rochester. I mean, everybody knows Dr. Cooper, but Dr. Cooper has a stature in the community that you would expect that. But in Rochester, it's not too difficult to know anybody's father or mother. As it turns out, Tony knew when I first went to DKX, Tony knew my father at Xerox. Tony worked at Xerox for, I think, 25 years. So that's the nature of our community. It really is not too difficult to know one another. And many of us were very blessed to know Tony in person, and if not in person, over the radio. He will be missed. And then Annette Rouse, a real connection to Rochester. You all know Annette. Many of you know Annette. She was the leading person behind the Black Scholars Program. When that program started, Annette was there with Bill Johnson to get it started. So she will be missed. And again, 2 degrees of separation. I mean, my wife knows her, your husband knows her, your boyfriend. I mean, that's just how Rochester is. So we all will experience this loss. And then I wanted to note that we're being joined, if the state approves it, by SUNY Geneseo in the next month or 2, we hope. And they suffered a sudden loss of a student. Samuel Nichols passed away unexpectedly and was an engaged member of the Geneseo community. And so again, their loss, because they are family, is now our loss. On that note, I did want to note that we did have a good, very productive meeting. I want to tell my colleagues, I haven't had a chance to tell you this, a very productive meeting with SED today. You all may recall the name Ira Schwartz. That name was, yeah, right?
He's a legend.
He's a legend. And the reason why we're all smiling is we had a lot of contact with Ira in advance of trying to open up the EPO at East High School when Dr. Vargas was here. And so we had to re-engage with Ira because of the whole SUNY Geneseo proposal. And it was a very productive conversation. And in fact, Ira said to us, well, you know, you got other receivership schools. What are you doing about them? Have you thought about, and he didn't say this in a negative way, have you thought about other EPOs? And I immediately said, oh no, no, absolutely not. But I said to him, one of the board's big reservations is the cost of doing this. If you're gonna ask somebody to step out here and do it right, they gotta have the money, they gotta have the financing, the planning time, and he appreciated that answer. But I'm literally quoting him, he said, you know, this could be a model. Because you got a state school, we got hundreds of state schools throughout the system that could be in a position to do this sort of thing. So it was a very encouraging conversation. It seems like, without any guarantees, that they really like what we're attempting to do here. So I just wanted my colleagues to know that you took a step, and I think the state really appreciates that. And that was very clear in that conversation today. And then finally, I sent, and I think in my last president's letter, my request that you all consider a segment in the board meetings. I know these things can tend to run long, but this would be an important one. And in fact, some of the conversation that we had today is evidence of that. It would be great if we could start what we could call a Homegrown Heroes Award. Very brief, not long, but just recognize some of the talent that has come through Rochester, like we did today. There's quite a few talented Rochesterians. We've got talented, committed professionals throughout this country. And it would be good for us and our students to see those folks. So I asked in my last president's letter, I'm going to ask again, if any of you know, not just my colleagues, if any of you know anybody who's come through our district and is doing something, they don't have to be famous, but something productive or positive, please share that information with Ms. Lee, and we'll make sure that they're presented at every business meeting. That concludes my report. So now let's move on to the consideration of resolutions. Can I get a motion to discuss Resolution 704 through 717?
So moved.
Been moved by Commissioner Hallmark, seconded by Commissioner Adams. Any questions or comments regarding those resolutions?
Yes.
Yes, Commissioner Hallmark?
This is regarding 717.
Yes, ma'am.
So I want to talk about my concerns about this. We've asked the superintendent to study neighborhood schools and see capacity throughout the entire district. And I believe you've begun working on that implementation of the study. And while I like the pipeline idea, that is 33 going straight to east, and cooperation between schools is good, I believe that making an exception to our policy before the superintendent has given her recommendations is like putting a cart before the horse. Neither East nor 33 have high neighborhood numbers of high numbers of neighborhood kids. I think it's like 5% or 20%. It's very low. And so if we set up a pipeline for 3 years between these schools, we're essentially locking in a student body that will be attending from all over the city rather than from the neighborhood. So that's my primary concern. So I think that should this pass, it's the wrong timing, and it will actually work against our neighborhood schools initiative. And also it sends the exact opposite message to our superintendent than the one we gave her in January to work on neighborhood schools. When and if the study results in different action, I hope my colleagues will be prepared to amend this resolution. Thanks.
Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, Mr.
Commissioner
President.
Powell?
I will also be voting against this resolution. You know, over the course of the last month, I've met with representatives from Great Schools for All, and they have asked me to incorporate something of an addendum to previous charge to the superintendent around school choice and capacity, to also look at the potential impact of regional schools. And I bring this into the conversation to say that there are other outside groups that are working with us on our behalf in good faith, that are waiting their turn, that are recognizing that there's a process and that the superintendent needs to have time to do her work. And in recognizing that, simply ask that when that study begins, that they be that they have a place at the table, figuratively speaking, that their issues are brought to the table and included in the study and the wargaming of it. This just isn't the right time. This oversteps all of that's necessary to make a good, sound decision for the whole district. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
I would just really briefly say that I see it differently in terms of this proposal actually supporting neighborhood schools in a very incremental, small contribution toward what we hope will be a more significant shift over the years ahead. So I just want to put that on the record that I do support neighborhood schools, absolutely, and I do see this as a contribution to it. We've been saying, and it's not like this is an action that's, in my view, it's not jumping ahead or premature action the way that some of my colleagues have just articulated, because I think it is continuous with a lot of other work that at least I know I've been valuing regarding promoting neighborhood schools piece by piece, short of a comprehensive, a comprehensive assessment recommendations that I'm greatly looking forward to. We need to continue incrementally and through existing mechanisms supporting neighborhood schools, and I see that this way, just like I saw the work around School 44 and School 16 in the 19th Ward and other pieces that will support improved placement, office, counseling, those kinds of things that we've been, I believe many of us, if not all of us, have been putting on the record over the years, that we want to see more coherence, more rational placement that will tend to favor neighborhood placement if the seeking and placement in a school of choice is not happening, because right now it's not rational. Right now there are many people who are, you're right, Liz, that's why I wanted to just respond, because you're right, there is a very small, relatively small proportion of people who attend their closest school, but this is I see this as a step toward improving that.
I just wanted to note, you know, Commissioner Powell and I agree 99.9% of the times. This is regrettably one of those times we'll disagree, but we'll survive. Because I really believe that, you know, you talk about the time is now, not later, not sometime in the future, but the time is now to recognize the importance of continuous improvement. The University of Rochester and the staff at East High School have said, it's not enough that we have taken over as EPO. It's not enough that we have a high school. Hey, let's add a 6th grade cohort, a lower school, and have an upper school. So it wasn't enough for them to just say, okay, let's take the population that we have. They've even taken the opportunity, the risk, some might say, to take on a school, which, by the way, no offense to the folks that are working hard there, it's not necessarily a crown jewel of this district. They've taken the largest elementary school in our district. And I think that's a tacit acknowledgement that you can't just take over a project, experience some success, and say, we'll rest on our laurels, because there are children at stake. There's a whole idea about community engagement at stake. And so I think the time is now for that, not later. That is not an idea that needs to be studied. I think the time is now to say to parents, yes, we value your opinion. Parents have overwhelmingly said that they want this. I think the time is now to say we value parents' opinions. I think the time is now to value staff opinions. I know this. The staff at East High School have said they want this. That's not something that we should defer. We've deferred that far too long in our district. And the time is now to give our students at East High School, give our staff at East High School, give our parents at East High School, give our community the chance to have a model that is successful. And that model is a high-risk model, because what you're saying is we'll take a whole bunch of other folks, because for those of you who don't know what this proposal is about, you're saying let's provide, we've got to provide more detail than just say it's a pipeline. It's a pipeline for professional development. It's a pipeline for instruction. It's a pipeline of collaboration that will fuel kids who will graduate next year and the year after that. That is why it's not a proposal for tomorrow. Because, as you all know, this June, we've all signed up to speak at graduation ceremonies. Kids are graduating or not graduating in real time. We do not have the luxury, respectfully offered as my humble opinion, we do not have the luxury to say, we're going to do a study and ignore an opportunity to allow a child to finish on the graduation at the finish line right now. We just don't, and I'm not saying we shouldn't do a study. We absolutely do. What I'm saying is does not contradict my support for the resolution, the call for allowing our superintendent to look at neighborhood schools. But while we look at that, we have children that are in that pipeline. Whether we want to call it a pipeline or not, we have children that are or are not going to graduate. And we do not have the luxury of saying, we'll do the study and we'll wait until the study gets done. When we know at the end of that pipeline, at the left side of that pipeline is a school right now that is doing pretty positive things. Why shouldn't we fuel our kids into that community? So I just think it's important that these aren't mutually exclusive approaches to say we want to look at the systemic impact, but in the meantime, let's focus in on those kids that in real time are in danger of not graduating or have the opportunity to graduate. So I'm hoping that my colleagues will not look at this as a situation where we are so divided that we can't move on. We'll make a decision tonight and we'll move on. And I believe that the direction that we move will move those kids through the pipeline in a positive and a productive way. And I hope we, as a group, no matter how we vote, can continue to move on in our pipeline in a productive and a collaborative way.
Just let me say briefly,
Yes, sir.
you know, I believe in consistency. So, and from my perspective, I've consistently supported things that schools have proposed if it made sense. And if you remember, a couple of months ago, we added 6th grade to, I believe it was Leadership Academy for young men, and we did that much faster. We didn't have a lot of debate, a lot of conversation. So, I see that as similar to that in terms of trying to build community in the larger school community. We did it with leadership. We've done it at other schools. This just is a continuation of that as far as I'm concerned.
We all set? All right, all those in favor of resolutions 704 to 717, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any nays?
Nay. 17.
Madam Clerk, have you recorded the 2 noes to 717? Yes. That would mean all resolutions 704 to 717 have passed. Can I get a motion to discuss resolution 719 to 739?
Move it.
And moved by Commissioner Evans, seconded by?
Second.
Commissioner Hallmark, did I hear you say that? Yeah. Any questions or comments regarding resolution 719 to 739? There being no questions or comments, all those in favor of the Human Capital Initiatives 719 to 739 say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposition?
No to 739 only.
Madam Clerk, you recorded that? No? Thank you. Motion to discuss resolution 740 to 746?
Move it, Mr. President.
Been moved by Commissioner Evans, seconded by
Second.
Commissioner Powell. I would just note for the record, I'll be abstaining from 744. Any other questions or comments regarding those resolutions? There being no questions or comments, all those in favor of resolution 740 to 746 say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Can I get a motion to discuss resolution 747 to 748?
Move it, Mr. President.
Been moved by Commissioner Cruz, seconded by
Second.
Commissioner Adams. Any questions or comments regarding those resolutions? There being no further questions or comments, all those in favor of resolution 748 to 747 to 748 say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Can I get a motion to discuss resolution 749 to 760?
Move it, Mr. President.
Been moved by
Second.
Commissioner Cruz, seconded by Commissioner Adams. Any questions or comments?
These went through finance the other day, that's all.
It has been noted by Commissioner Evans that these resolutions have already been vetted through finance. Any other questions or comments regarding those resolutions? There being no further questions or comments, all those in favor of educational facilities resolution say aye. Aye. Any opposition? Are there any under other categories, 761 through 768?
And the standard workday resolution.
That's right. We have the standard workday resolution, 761 to 768. Can I get a motion to discuss those resolutions?
Move it.
Been moved by Commissioner Evans, seconded by
Second, Mr. President.
Commissioner Cruz. I just want to thank staff that helped do that very hard work on that resolution, and including, of course, Dr. Lee and Anissa, who I'm sure sometimes is watching. Any questions or further questions or comments regarding those resolutions?
Yes.
Yes.
On, 761 regarding Partners in Restorative Initiatives, there was a question about, it appeared that this was extending the amount that we were paying, but it didn't clearly describe an expansion of services. So were there unexpected expenses incurred? This was a question that I think was submitted a couple days ago, so I just wanted to follow up because I didn't see. If there was an answer, I apologize.
Yes, that is, we extended by 7.
Voice carries pretty well.
I can't hear.
Your voice carries very well.
It does. I'm married
Yes, it
to a
does.
preacher. Yes, it is. We use My Brother's Keeper funds, which was written to a grant to expand the training opportunities during the summer. $75,000 was written into the grant.
Okay, so it does involve more services than were previously done. So it's not just more money for the same services that we already approved in the past. It's actually more services being added. It wasn't entirely clear, so I just want to verify that.
It's for the training.
Okay, for new things that were not previously approved by the board.
Right.
Okay, thanks. That's it.
Any other questions or comments?
Yes, Resolution 765. Just some comments about that. I'm not supporting this one, not because I don't value UNCF or because I don't understand what they do, but because there are many, many valuable organizations that we could be supporting. And I don't feel that take Teen Empowerment or AAUW, there are many opportunities for us to be supporting other organizations, and I am not convinced that we have a clear deliberative process for how we're spending our money, and to have it all spent in one place, a big big packet doesn't feel right to me, so.
Any other questions or comments regarding those resolutions? I just want to note, Ruth, you've done a lot of work that is on the agenda for today, and on behalf of the board, as you know, I occasionally do with other staff members, I want to thank you for the work that you did. You had a lot of work product. And let me tell you something, Ruth is always first to point out what other people have done, and that's the real sign of a servant. So thank you, I just wanted to point that out. All right, so unfinished business, there is none. We are now...
We didn't actually vote.
Oh, I'm sorry, thank you. I'm sorry. Can I get a, thank you very much, Commissioner Hallmark, Commissioner Powell. Can I get a vote on 761 to 768? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
No to 765.
Did you capture that, Madam Clerk? Okay. All right, thank you very much for stopping me. Unfinished business, there is none. There is new business. I call it good news, right? And the good news is, you heard it referenced earlier on, our students at number 41 school placed first in the soapbox derby. I tried to build one of them when I was a kid.
I was in one.
Were you? Did you win?
No, I got beat by a girl in a Wendy's car.
Oh, man. He's been traumatized. But along with that good news, you know, I said the last meeting that we would close out these meetings with some good news and some good music. I need a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
It's been moved by Commissioner Hallmark, seconded by Commissioner...
I'll second it. Scandal's not on.
Commissioner Evans. And can we sign out with our good music, our good news, good music? You're going to love this. Okay. All right. We're not out yet because I got to tell you, we're going into executive session because we have to discuss a litigation matter and we also have to discuss a personnel matter. Now, the good news, music. So for you diehard fans, we're going to adjourn from downstairs on the second floor after we finish our executive session. Good night, everybody. Can you turn that a little bit louder? What's that? There we go. Can you dance like that, Millie? Oh, yeah.
So nice. So nice. I got you. Hey!
Get my tape. Yeah. That's a typewriter.
Michael Jackson.
Typewriter. Jackie Wilson.
I was growing up as a kid in high school, you haven't really learned anything about these things. So, it's part of the story. I grew up in the black community. We had salsa music, that's the thing coming to the early 70s.
You feel like corn chips over here.
That's what I got is
Our older brothers and cousins
Oh, see the outbound. It's called the Latin Soul King.
Doc.
sugar and spice. So nice, so nice. I got it here. Wow, I feel good. I feel good. I knew that I would. So good, so good. I got it here. So good, so good. I got it here.